Hello, my dear ones. Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. I'm going to try to rip it off this afternoon. After lunch, I'm going to start this, and then we have to stop for lunch. And then I had to meet with someone this morning here, and I've been painting early this morning. I'm building this big water manifold thing for my gardens where I have different zones, but I want it all in one place where I can take care of everything better. Hope you all are doing well. One lady wrote in an interesting story about a healing crisis or a situation in her finger, that she felt she was getting necrosis in the finger, and she really took care of herself and did different things to help her open that up. She kind of panicked, and she woke up with a feeling of cold, and there was a large blue section taking over the middle part of her finger, and became red within 5 minutes. The whole problem became invisible, and I gained full movement in 10 minutes. I mean, she goes on and on and on. The things that she took, she did to try to get her lymph moving here. You know, the healing crisis. There's two ways to look at that. You know, when you start on this program, you're actually reversing how you created all this. You're actually reversing how you created all this. Now, when you do that, just think of the symptoms that you've had through your life and be prepared to go back and re-experience them. Because when we create these acute manifestations and we don't deal with that in the moment. Remember, I gave you that analogy when I went to the mall years and years ago. I wanted a little baby malt. I'd craved malt for a couple months, and I just wanted a couple of tastes. You know, it was probably 15 years ago or more. And this little ice cream place in the mall served little baby malts for children, you know. And so I went in to ask him for a baby malt. He kind of looked at me kind of weird. I said, I just want a little bit. So he fixed me a little baby malt, and I'm sipping on it while I'm walking out to my truck. Got a sore throat. Immediately got a sore throat. And I knew I'd created it with all the mucus, because ice cream, those proteins are very mucus forming. The body does not want it in it. So it's abrasive to your mucosa, and it produces mucus. Well, now you have to deal with the mucus, and you can feel it. It's almost as if when you can put, especially when you guys get clean, you can put ice cream or something up to or put it in your mouth. You can almost feel your mucosa producing mucus all through you. Scary, scary. That's vibration and frequency. And when you get out of harmony, and you start consuming food that what you think is food, but it is not food for your species, it is out of harmony with you, then it becomes mucus forming. It becomes immunoresponsive or mucosic responsive. And then you get mucus from that, and then you got to play with the mucus. And if you don't get the mucus out, then it gets hard, and then that becomes a mass. And, you know, it just goes on and on and on like that. So when you start on these programs, you are elevating the energy, the nutrition, you're hydrating, everything. So you're going to see a whole world of changes. Some can be very, very painful. You know, look in your eye. If you see a chronic hip, expect a pain in that hip somewhere along this journey. If you have a chronic knee, expect to have pain in that knee somewhere on the journey. You have a weakness in the throat, you can have a sore throat somewhere on this journey. And it can be that you can't talk anymore. And that's a healing crisis. I mean, they're as wide and as varied as the symptoms that are out there. And they're the same symptoms. That's the problem. That's one of the problems, is that they're the same symptoms. I want you to know that, let's say you had a brain tumor, and you had a tumor in your liver, right? And you're honking on. You got your kidneys filtering, and now you're honking on. You're definitely going to see the liver tumor go faster than the brain tumor. Those lymph movements closer to the kidneys, you're going to see better improvement quicker. You don't go around and get the head drained quicker than because it's not closer to the eliminative organs. So it is possible, while you're on a raw food program and an herbal program, to get worse in certain places in your body while you're on these programs. Just starting a program doesn't stop everything. Not at all. You're creating more activity. You're living life. You're creating activity. You're thinking. You're moving. You're breathing. You're walking. All this activity, all the breathing is a chemical experience, isn't it? And you have chemical residues created from chemical experiences, right? However you burn it, through breath, through oral ingestion, through skin, you still are going to have chemical residues produced. And if you're not removing these chemical byproducts of the combustion and the metabolistic action on foods, that's what's blowing back on us. And those are acids, and that's blowing back on us. So when you start detoxifying, it can be anywhere. It can be a finger, it can be an ear, it can be anywhere. You can even have hair fall out even more and then see new hair growth immediately. I mean, it's all kinds of weird and wacky stuff. And I know a lot of practitioners, say, oh, that's a healing crisis, that's a healing crisis, that's a healing crisis. I think, and what I've been trying to do on this site is get a lot of conscious beings out there. If you can learn to stop thinking, you made it. You broke the spell. You did it. If you can learn to stop thinking and live in the present moment, and think when you need to, but learn how to stop that. Learn to think when you need to and not when you're not. You made it. You did it. You conquered it. You talk about the rock climbers climbing Mount Everest. You just climbed the scale of God, because that's the secret of the difference between who and where you came from and the drama that you're experiencing right now. Mind, thought, the mind. So you could have all kinds of healing crises, and emotional healing crisis for sure. You could just start crying. Just start crying. You don't even know what for. And these are the times that you just let everything go. You just like in meditation, you just sit down and you just let it all go. You just relax. I don't want to look at this world anymore. That's why I'm meditating. That's why I'm contemplating. I want to go to the inner world, so to speak. I want to go in for a little while, and then that'll take me out. Because if I don't shut down the activity outside, then I'm too busy watching that to know what's going on the inner. The only difference between psychics and other people is they listen. You can do the same thing. Each and every one of you can do whatever you want. Remember karma. But you can do whatever you want in that respect. So where you put your attention, remember that? That's how beautiful you are. You are where you put your attention. That's how free you are. And no one can take that away from you. They could throw your body in jail, but not you. There's plenty of Christian saints that they've seen in two places at the same, St. Peter or whatever his name was. They always saw that guy. He was in jail for a while. And they would see him out in the populace. Spiritual giants always knew through out-of-body experiences. It's in the books. It's all in there. And then when you read the agnostics and you get into the other 23 Gospels, if you're a Christian, and I was raised Christian, that'll help show you that the same thing existed. The same thing, because there's only so much to experience in creation, and we all have access to it all. But these healing crises, remember, they can tear you, they can jerk you, they can hurt, they can be extremely painful. They can run you into the ER. And if you're having a healing crisis and you feel it's life-threatening, no big deal to go into the ER. 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, the ER doc can't find a thing. 9 times out of 10. And many of you have experienced that already. And it's because it's hard to define a healing crisis. And it's hard to tell a medical doctor just what reversing how you're creating these problems is and what that's like. And so then they start treating everything. Well, when you're in a healing crisis and you treat it, it could get a little rougher for you. Or it could just stop it. Or it could that'd hold on and hold on and hold on and hold on for days and days and days. You don't want that. You want to get in and get out. Most healing crises last from 3 hours to 3 days. Most. Somewhere in that time frame. And everybody's uniquely different, and every condition is different in its level of weakness. Remember the acute, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. Degenerative is the state that medical doctors call cancer. We used to call it degeneration. But to make it a little swanky and to control and do all the other stuff they like to do, we attach the word cancer. But it's a sign of degeneration. That doesn't kill you, but it can. Tumors, pockets of fluid, right? That's not cells, pockets of fluid. Now you can have cells in that tumor wrapped around, interstitial fluid, get bigger and bigger and bigger and create a tumor around that. You're going to have cells in there. And of course, they're going to eat up, going to chew those cells right up. Okay. But it's no way ever to go in and to use chemo and radiation to go in and try to burn and basically burn it through chemistry out. And what you do to one, you do to everyone, and that's the problem. So these healing crises come and go. The most general is cold and flu-like symptoms, of course, fevers, kids like high fevers, and you can't freak out. Fevers is how the body sweats and eliminates. And if you notice, the body is, when you start giving it raw foods, it starts proper elimination. It starts eliminating. So when you start to look at that, you realize that cooked foods creates agglomulation. Cooked foods and all these type of grains, beans, and things are acidic. Their residues don't like to come out as easy. And a good example of that is grains. Your doo-doo, your poop will stick to your butt. And then you got to use toilet paper after toilet paper and get the wet wipes or whatever you do. That's starch. Fruits and vegetables clean you while they go through. So it's those sort of things, Everything is, you guys are learning a lot and growing a lot and just experiencing so many cool things, And this is the thing. It's just so many suffering 20-year-olds. I just talked to a couple here a few minutes ago, in their early 20s. And just the one young man is balding, and he's a good lad. He's been in detox for 3 years. He's almost fruitarian and feels the difference, And it's just people are working on themselves and getting their health back, and I'm proud of each and every one of you, and especially you teens and 20-year-olds who are in trouble, with skin and lymph and stuff like this. This is the first thing you got to do is get your body back in shape. Isn't it funny? You come here to get a body to experience and go on and enjoy the enjoyments of whatever this realm gives you. But and you're coming into rotten bodies that now can't even carry you around very easily. So yeah. The Homo sapiens before you did not do an adequate job of preparing the place for you. Because you have to realize that when you leave, you remember I told you I like to make things better. Because souls are coming in here. Don't you like to hand the keys over and say, hey, I made it better for you? That's the kind of consciousness you want to have. You don't want to have the one where I get whatever I can. That'll keep you spinning. This is Bree 101 loves. Oh, this must be Brianna. Gotta be. I don't know. Loving your vids, and thank you so much for making them. They have truly changed my life. Thank you so much for that. I hope so. It's heartfelt. Yeah, this is Brianna again, and I have a question about this diet. I've been on and off fruitarian for 4 years now. On my off times, I was still vegan or raw with nuts and seeds. About a month ago, my dad passed away very suddenly in a traumatic setting. Oh my God, honey. Well, sorry to hear that. I guess time to go. You got to realize, even with trauma, car accident or a train falls on your head or whatever, just realize that time to go. It was your dad's time to go, honey. He just was here and did what he had to do for himself and brought you and whatever in the world, and time to go. Now he's into another adventure, even greater. Remember, if things get greater, bigger, better, always a lot to look happy for. You're in tough times right now, so it's not a lot of happy times. So just realize that, and you make your own happiness. You don't sit around and let other people make you happy, because you'll be waiting a long time, because most people are not happy themselves. So you got to find your own happiness. Well, get to loving yourself. Remember who you guys are and where you come from. All right, so let's see here. And I've had extreme anxiety ever since. Well, you know, your adrenals went down. You know that. That's your emotional glands, and you know, the trauma with your dad and stuff like that, your adrenals went down. And if they're already on the fence, you know, you took them down a little more, and you know, don't worry about that. I mean, people go through that. Now, this is where a glandular could come in and help you. 400 milligrams, honey, if you can handle that, or 200 at least. And just do a month of that or something, you know, just pop it back up. And if you want, go into contemplation and try to get him to come to you and talk to him. I'm serious, you know, and communicate with that soul. You know, he's got a few days, or who knows, you know, but you can communicate with him. And that's the fun thing to do. And that gives your heart an assurance that this being is still there, and that just doesn't have the same body you're used to seeing. But the being behind that, the dad you know behind the body. Fun stuff. Or get a psychic to communicate for you, and we've got plenty around here, and you know, to give you a personal contact. I've been in Thailand now for good food. For 3 weeks, eating only water-rich fruit, trying to heal my body. Good, man. I tell you, Brianna, I'm jealous. I just am so craving good fruit. You know, I ate my last mango off of my tree, and I let it. I just wanted to see, because I've never ever raised mangoes. And sure enough, it got yellow on the tree for me. Some of the other ones had split and stuff, but this one got yellow, and it was so... I've got some red pineapples. I don't know where I got them. They're specialty, and I got them actually at Lowell's, believe it or not, but they get them out of Homestead. And these are red pineapples. I've never had one. I can't wait. And if the coons get them, I'm going to get them. As you know, I struggled with tooth decay. Absolutely, honey. Eating as a fruitarian, as well as horrible acne. It wasn't a fruitarian that did your teeth in. You got to realize that. Can't blame fruits for loss of teeth. That's untrue. I've got plenty of islanders that have been their fruits all their lives, raised on them, full set of teeth, beautiful. It's the lymph system that got your teeth, just like it's got your, it's the horrible acne. You know when you know this system of yours is the lymph system. That's the fruit didn't create that. Your lymph system did. The fruit is just exposing it, guys. The fruit is just astringent, so it's just cleaning away for you to see what the aftermath is. It doesn't create that. Now, I'll say that way, if you've got real acid pineapples and stuff, yeah, you're stressing the mouth. Just the astringent value alone can make the teeth hurt. You know, so yeah. I began to include fats into my diet, or lymphatic herbs. You know, the thing about it is lipids are that's what your body uses to treat this, and use the word treat, but that's what your body uses. That's why some of the diets that are high lipid diets can make you feel a little better when you're highly acidic, because remember we talk about Big Mama, those are lipids, and they are definitely antacids. And you look at cholesterol, body's main antacid, outside of adrenal steroids, and those are made from cholesterol. So, you know, Big Daddy in the body. Or lymphatic herbs, still not sure why. I don't know what you're saying, honey. But over here in Thailand, eating even pineapple does not affect my teeth. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying to you guys. It isn't the fruit, but it's that if the fruit is like Thai fruit. This is the problem with the fruit around the world. It isn't the fruit that's the problem. It's the way we grow it, we pick it. You know, it's this market thing. It's tough in the States because, you know, these grocery stores carry fruit in their coolers for I don't know how long. And then, of course, I don't know how unripe they get them, but pretty unripe. And this is what we have to rectify. And I don't know, pretty big deal to rectify something like that outside of the islands. Because the islands, you have markets, but when you get outside of the islands, we need to. And I don't. It's just going to have to supply and demand and change its own by whatever. You have places like some of the arty people who are shipping fresh fruit to you. That is going to be the way we have to do it, is have our guys ship the fruit to you. You buy them through them and you'll get them fresh at your door. But this is what I'm saying. I was telling you about the Romanian homeopathist who went to Thai, and she said all my symptoms went away on Thai fruit. That's the kind of fruit I'm talking about. That's fruit. That's real fruit. We get in here, our farmers are not aware enough how to raise and pick good fruit and to get it to the market and for grocery stores to accept the fact that you're going to have a quicker turnover with the fruit. You can't have it all ways. You can't have hold a lot of fruit in a grocery store and not have a fast turnover, because you're going to lose a lot. When I had my health food stores, I did offer organic produce, but I made that on it. I made zero on it. I actually had it as a come-on so people would come into my store, because the only money you make in health food stores is supplements, because to sustain you. Everything else, you're cutting all these other health food stores. You're fighting back then. They sold bran and stuff like that. And I had to buy in 100-pound boxes to be able to, and I would buy with a granary at the time. We were all friends, and we'd buy 50, 100-pound boxes of dates and almonds and things like that. So we would fight Richard's prices, because Richard would buy bulk and then he'd just take it way down to nothing. Well, because he always had hole-in-the-wall health food stores. A lot of us spent a lot of money to have nice health food stores, and our financial expense was higher. And then those of you that are familiar with the granary, it's not the granary anymore, but yeah, we started out together. I started my health food stores probably about, I'm saying 3 or 4 years before the guy came to me that wanted to start the granary. And I already was in business. I had built my health food store like a country store. I had all kinds of this is my small one. This is only 600 square feet. Let me see. This is walking down one of my aisles in the bigger one. See, I had the cooler. I had barrels and stuff back then. Of course, I'm a carpenter, so I built my own shelves. And the honey, this was the dried fruit bin, but you see the painting on the wall up here? I had the high school kids come in. There was a high school kid with cancer at the time, and he's trying to save enough money to go to the Gerson Clinic. This is my freezer bin. I built it like I was in Alaska, and built it with a little Alaska cabin. And I had all kinds of stuff. This is my honey bin. Look at this. This is all honeys. I had honey barrels, and I had honey from every source you could get it from. Big honeybee up there in this tree. Yeah. Rock and roll band. I bet you can't guess which one I am. Right there. 12-string Morse guitar. We were called the Cherries back then. There I am singing. Yep. Feel the old days. Yeah. So, having that good Thai fruit, honey, that's what it's about. Let me see. But over here in Thailand, eating even pineapple does not affect my teeth. Cleared. My skin cleared up. I was hoping you had some advice for. Live there for a while. stay there and get your body cleaned up, and then you're good. You know, this is part of the problems. Why I think we're going to be looking for places like Thailand, and these. I hope these countries get to come into their own, to where they're worldwide respected for their foods and everything else, and people start to realize these are good people, and these people are, you know, islanders, have an in on the health and stuff like this. So I'm hoping that you know, that we can make this world good, and some of these countries that are suffering like this, they can have their turn, because they hold the key for the future. And our farmers learn that we are fruitarians, and that get us fruit and get us good fresh fruit. Healing emotionally from witnessing a loved one's death. Would you realize, and I'm serious about this, go, honey, and call him in. And remember, here's the doorway to all the worlds. And you bring him into you and talk with him. That soul is probably still hanging around, or able to talk to your emotional body. And you realize that. And realize that your mom is same thing. You're going to be leaving. Your turn's coming. My turn's coming. You know, this is touch and go. It's just here today and gone tomorrow. And I know how it feels to suddenly have an empty space. But that's only physically is he empty. He still has an astral body, unless he was going higher, and then he would have dropped that too. But you got to be pretty spiritual to go on beyond that, to be honest with you. In this lifetime, so, you know, he's not dead. I mean, that soul is not dead, never will be. So that's what we have to get used to, is seeing people in their higher selves, to where, yeah, they got a body, but I love the one inside there. You know what I mean? I love the God part. Died under the care of a hospital. Oh, and it was absolutely horrible and traumatic. Ooh. Well, you know, I spent a lot of years in 3 different hospitals. They are what they are. And the whole consciousness is wrong, guys. The whole consciousness is wrong. But with that said, when you're in an emergency, a hospital is awful nice to have. But it's all wrong. It all has to be turned around. The prices they're unreal. Hospitals, to me, are one of the major problems in the medical community. They have priced things beyond reach. It's just horrible what's happened in that field. But when you have the way they have it set up, they're sued constantly. And when you're hurting people and working with these type of toxins and stuff, you're going to get sued. And so that's the problem with that field. They have the blowback. One of the blowbacks is the price of insurance they got to pay to be in business to do what they do. Healing emotionally, yeah, okay. So that all is understanding spiritually, sweetheart. And then, of course, you got weak adrenals, and that's going to make you hurt a little more, be a little more down, because when you're weak in the adrenals, you're weak emotionally. But when you realize, you start waking up to spirituality and wakening up, it'll make you stronger in a lot of ways, realizing that this isn't reality at all. This is basically a movie, and one of the players just went off to make another movie. That's all it is, honey. It was a man that met a woman, that together they produced your body so you could be here. And that's what we do here, is we produce bodies for other souls to come visit. Be nice to get our act together and, come on down. Here's a book, a survival book. Here's what you should eat and everything else. Of course, by the time we get to that level, intuitiveness will be in, and they already know. And I have extreme anxiety, and I feel as though I've lost myself. No. No, we're each and all individuals. So you didn't lose yourself. But at one point within each and every one of us, we are the same. God expressing itself in individual form. Look at that. Look at the religions. Look at all the wording. Look at how everything is similar, because that's what I did. Living in the woods as a fruitarian, I had plenty of time, so I read the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, everything I could get. Everything. Even Alan Watts, Nietzsche, all these people. and just trying to put the world together like a jigsaw puzzle. What's the same in Hinduism as in Christianity? Why the differences? What is it? Just in the wording? Because there's only the one, whatever you wish to call it. It's the mind that makes it different. See, the mind is what got everybody in trouble. All right, so all I can tell you about that is love yourself, hug yourself, spend time with yourself alone, by yourself, and appreciate who you are. The fact that you're an expression of the divine, and that down here they don't know about the divine well. And you're getting a lot of that, and by opening that up and by getting your body at a higher level of vibration and frequency, you're going to be able to understand that and feel whole again and feel complete. We each and every one of us should feel whole and complete within ourselves. You don't need anybody else in your world. None of you do. You might want to have someone there for camaraderie and joy and stuff. I get that. But you don't need to have someone there. If you do, then that's your crutch, that's your ball and chain. And you haven't spent time enough with yourself to appreciate yourself. And you need to do that. Because you're all beautiful, beautiful, each and every one of you as individuals, and accept that. And go out in the world and enjoy that. Don't ever let anybody take your beauty away. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how big or small. I don't care. Who cares? You stand for the individuality of life. Without that, life is boring and nothing. The great one, I call it the great, but the Creator is about individuality, even though all is the one. Interesting stuff. Transitioning back to a whole food vegan diet high in fruit, but also other cooked plant foods. I've come to the conclusion that while in the tropics I can stay raw, but living at home I would like to stay balanced. Well, that's good. I mean, you can do whatever you want in that way, but it's enough to say that you see how good Thai food is and stuff. If we could all get to Thailand and spend about 6 months, we'd come out of there super people. It's funny, but you're experiencing just what it is, and you're seeing what a true fruitarian lifestyle would be. Your skin cleared up, everything started clearing up. That's the way it should be. We just have bad fruit a lot of places, Well, you do your best. I don't know what else to say about it. Doesn't make the fact the fruit any less or more. It's the quality of it. I've come to the conclusion, my issue is that as soon as I go off all water-rich fruit and begin to include potatoes, veggies, grains, and fats, my skin breaks out. No kidding, because none of that's good for you. And all of that clogs you back up again, except for the veggies. So it just clogs you back up again, honey. And it just acidifies you again. So it's in your face, you can't do them. It's in your face, you can't do them. You have to work through this. Come down to green drinks and get on some herbs and take Parasite M for a while. That'll help you, because you're craving the fungal stuff, honey, and that's just pulling you back away from that. So keep yourself on Parasite M for a while, and at the same time go forth and conquer. If you have to come back to green drinks, use green drinks. But you need to get into that lymph and move it. Moving. But I can't stay on solely fruit because I can't afford to or want to anymore at home. Well, whatever you want, sweetie. Thank you so much. My family and I love all. Thank you guys. You guys are great people. But you see how good that Thai fruit was? And that's my point. Good Thai fruit. Man. Okay. What's this one? Gina. Hello, Doc. Try for your TY for your existence. Oh, thanks. I'm such a chaos. My life is getting worse day by day. Number one, have 28-year-old. It's got a star and a 1. have 28 years old, and so you're 28 years old, and I want to know what to do. I have to convince my parents that I need a serious detox in order to regain my health. After antibiotics, I began having serious digestive problems. I've said this many times, that friggin' antibiotics is the bane of our thing. It's like they think it's a wonder stuff. These guys still are delusional. They're still delusional. It's amazing. And again, taking antibiotics kills the bacteria in your lymph nodes. You don't want to do that. That's not the name of the game. It isn't the bacteria that's the problem in the first place. Infection. What's the problem? Bacteria? Hell no. Acids. Always. Sewage. Not the little people eating the sewage. The sewage. You don't go call out the septic cleaner and he comes in and kills your bacteria in your septic tank. Oh, you're good. No, it cleans the crap out. Bacteria too. It cleans the crap out and hopes to leave the bacteria in there so we have plenty to eat. You know what I'm saying? So, wrong thinking. Butt into the donkey again. But I began having serious digestive problems, weight loss, paleo lifestyle. Such a stupid eye floater, swollen groin lip. No sweat, no. Poor carb digestion, candida, undigested food and stool, bloated, no gases, no energy, low blood pressure, so on. Well, we know what Gina's problem is. First of all, you know your kidneys and adrenals are down. I mean, just these symptoms all warrant that just from that issue, right? So your lymph system's down big time. You know that already by listening to these videos, sweetheart. And the very fact that a medical doctor claimed you needed antibiotics tells you it was a lymphatic problem. Why would you need lymphatic problems for blood problems? You don't. So why would you need antibiotics for sewer problems? That's it. It's a sewer system problem. But the problem with killing systemic bacteria isn't good. You don't want to kill systemic bacteria. Not smart thinking for these guys. They should know better. Now, yeah, they messed you up that way. And I wouldn't take probiotics. Just realize you'll reseat yourself. But I would move myself to a raw food diet. Gina, at least a raw food diet. Let your parents watch this video. Because if anybody ever thinks that eating anything cooked is better than eating it raw, needs to go in and have a, what do you call that, a brain job. Who would ever think cooking anything would make it better for you? If you have to cook something to make it better, it wasn't meant for you to eat in the first place. And that would be something with complex starch. You had to cook it and break it down. Or why we cook vegetables. Why do we cook vegetables? Because the fiber's too much for us. We're not herbivores. We're frugivores. Big difference. If you don't understand that, yeah, we're not herbivores at all. You don't look like my horse, my cow, elephants. You don't look like any of those. We're not herbivores. We're frugivores. So, you know, when we realize why we started cooking some of these foods, because the only way we could get along with them. Starch, you got to cook them down. Grains. What's healthy about a grain? You founder on a grain, you're in deep trouble, right? Why? Acidosis, big time. All grains basically are acid forming. And quinoa and millet, big deal. These are all starches. These are all dead food. Enzyme inhibitors, high phytic acids. Look at beans, high sulfur. Gastric distress from beans, big time. What's healthy about that stuff? Nothing, honey. If it isn't raw and alive, first of all, it isn't good for you. It's low in energy, so it takes your energy away from you. For those just tuning in, realize that this is also an energetic experience. A lot of you listening have no energy. So why do you eat cooked food? No, there's a huge law in physics of the law of homeostasis. And it also is referred to in chemistry as well. Ionization has a saturation. A homeostatic balance in some way. So this homeostatic balance has to be achieved, and to get this homeostatic balance is eating the proper foods that come that way. Anyway, I want to introduce you to my son. He's going to be a counselor here one of these days. So Jason, come in and say hi to everybody. You have to bow down. He's a 6-footer. This is my son, Jason.
Hello, how's it going?
Right? You off to lunch?
I am. I got
Good,
my notes.
Oh, yeah. He's been sitting with Marcy. Yeah.
Short soul's weakness.
Oh, yeah.
Seeds, oil carrier.
Oh, good. Good.
And frankincense.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Must be a cancer case she's working on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. God, it seems like that's all we got in there, isn't it?
Yeah, we were just doing a 5-month-old baby that had cystrosis.
Huh.
I don't
I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah. 5-month-old, huh? Cystic fibrosis?
That's it.
Holy crap. A 5-month-old with cystic fibrosis?
Yeah.
Oh, now that's a real ascent. I mean,
And they were giving them glutathione, which would be protein, cysteine.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them that.
So what is she got him on the raw? How's the baby doing? Or she just get him, or?
She just first day.
Oh, first day. Well, that was a good one to be in on.
Yeah, so I took some notes on that.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, have fun at lunch. Has she got something after lunch?
Yeah, she's got someone in
good.
an hour or so.
Good. All right, son.
All right.
Have a good lunch.
Thanks, you too.
You got it, man. All right, so weight loss. Again, you know, your lymphatic system, you know this, your lymphatic system is getting worse if you're not correcting it, sweetheart. And if your kidneys are not filtering, your lymphatic system for sure is getting worse. So as your lymph system gets worse and worse and worse, these things start coming. Paleo, weight loss, okay? What about weight loss? Malabsorption. Not good, because not only is it malabsorption, but all those acids building up interstitially in the gut wall is going to blow back on you someday. It's going to thicken the wall. And as it thickens the wall and you do a colonoscopy, you're going to get a report on that one. And then, of course, that leads you into the ulcerative colitis, Crohn's syndromes, the IBS syndromes, things like this. No. Of course, you get it on the paleo lifestyle bullcrap. Eye floaters, yeah, again, that could, hopefully that's just mucus. So get the eye wash, get an eye cup. We sell them. They're couple bucks or something like that. I don't know. But I'll wash your eye out with ours. 12 drops of eye wash herb in skin temperature water in the eye cup. Wash your eye out morning and night, or 3 times a day. You're going to get a lot of mucus coming out of that eye. You could wake up with them closed, full of mucus. Okay. But if it's detached anything, that's not good. So this is, again, you don't want detached pupils and things like this. Things break apart. You know, under the acid sky, no sweat. That's not good. Well, all of this, honey, all of this, swollen groin, lymph nodes, you know, this isn't good at all. You got to get to a fruitarian lifestyle, because when you, the only way anyone can come out of any of these problems, at 28, she has, not only has she has to get her kidneys to filter, we know that she's genetic. We know at 28 years old, and she can go back when she was young having problems. You know she's genetic in the adrenals and the kidneys. Of course, we've been talking about the genetics of these tissues for years now. And this is just more proof and more proof. And the more we read, the more we see, the more proof it's in our face how genetically weak some of these younger people are. And it's, but you have to set in and go after this. And you can't expect a few months to do it. You can't at all. I just talked to him and I said, a 5-month-old with cystic fibrosis? Holy moly.
That is, hey everyone, that is 2 cystic fibrosis cases this week.
Oh my God.
A 16-month-old and a 4-month-old. Yep.
It's getting bad out there. I mean, that's what I've been preaching. Oh yep. My God. Wow.
We got these 2. They'll be good.
They'll be good. They'll be good. You'll get them. Yeah. You'll get them. But that does bring up questions about the mother and how bad she is. I hope she understands that they, you know, that they're coming out of the mother, and to have cystic fibrosis.
Yep.
The mother's got to be one big acid. Yeah. That's sad. Oh wow. That's a good one to win.
Yeah.
Cystic fibrosis. I had a guy in here once who was so bad. I cured his sister of MS. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, that thing I'm thinking, but he was kept working at it because he was so emaciated. He was a skin and bones. He's 2 inches thick. And it was almost one big scar in those lungs.
Yeah, this baby is 8.5 pounds at 4 months.
Wow.
So we're going after digestive
shit.
big time.
Yeah. You know what? Think about that thymus and pituitary. Remember the thymus?
Yep. I'm
Remember
having
that?
to do the thump and
Yes. Because we can get that baby to catch up there.
Yep. We're putting some essential oils on the thymus area to stimulate it.
Good. Oh man, you're
Yep.
good.
So
You're good.
we'll get them.
Yep. Excellent.
Well, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to grab a quick bite of lunch.
I'm going too. I'm just going to end this one, and then I'm going to come back and record all afternoon. Okay, thank you. Oh my God. A 14-month, 6-month old cystic fibrosis. Ooh. Woo-hoo. God, I feel sorry for those mothers. I mean, you all know what cystic fibrosis is, right? God, holy crap. And it's good their mamas are in here, because I tell you, if they don't catch those babies now, oh my God, holy crap. Yeah, so the swollen groin lymph nodes, you got to get, you know, you're showing your kidneys are not filtering, honey, and the adrenals, your kidney and adrenals, you got to really work on them. No sweat thyroid. And you want to get yourself sweating. You know what happens when you don't sweat? Look at all the skin problems, right? Poor carb digestion. Well, you know, you might be dealing with pancreatic problems. You got to pull your eye pick. But remember, the pancreas digests the rest of your polypeptides and down to the amino acids. That's your trypsin, chymotrypsin. Then you got your carbohydrate digestion outside of what the mouth didn't do. You know, of course, this stops if you invoke hydrochloric acid, and then you reinstitute it back in the pancreas. But you could have a pancreatic problem here, and that would be serious. That would also give you gassy, bloaty when you're eating carbohydrates, because you're not breaking them down, you're fermenting them. So, yep, that could do that as well. Or you could have sulfur in the gut. Pull a picture of your eyes. You know what to look at. We talked to you about the eyes. All the orange of the sulfurs. If you get an orange in your stools, that's sulfur. That's gassy, bloaty too. And sulfur in a lot of people have embedded itself in the wall of the gut. Candida, everybody's got fungus. Take Parasite M and stay on that for an undetermined amount of time. Undigested food in the stool. Remember, gallbladder, lipids, pancreas, polypeptides, and carbos. So, or carbohydrates. So again, you could have a pancreatic problem. I name these herbs for those. So take the pancreatic formula 2-3 times a day, or 3 times a day for a month or so. You should have already ran through the liver gallbladder formulas. You know, and work yourself through these formulas to instigate better response in the cells of these tissues. At the same time, you got to fix your lymph system. You don't fix the lymph system, this is why all the cystic fibrosis, why all the lymphatic problems. You don't remove acids, they burn and scar you to death. And like I said with you ladies with endometriosis, they'll literally weld your uteri to the bowel wall. So this is serious, serious stuff we're playing with. You know, when you're playing with acids, you're playing with Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You're playing with serious, serious stuff here. Serious stuff. So, honey, all I can tell you, low blood pressure is proof positive. Adrenals are down. Well, if your neurotransmitters are down, your kidneys are down from that, because you need the dopamines to poop and pee. So again, you want to get into those adrenals. Now you get into them, go to our protocol video to show you the herbs we recommend. But I would recommend, on a case like yours, I would definitely hit the 400 milligram adrenal glandular for about a month and a half to 2 months. Then I'd go right into the herbs, hitchhike the licorice root, because you got to bring your blood pressure up. Your blood pressure's low, that's neurotransmitters, that's your breathing, that's your bowel movements, that's your heart, that's everything. That's neurotransmitters. That's your autonomic nervous system. That's your worker bee nervous system. That's, hey, I got energy to go play and have fun, or I'm too tired. That's your desire in life, your motivation. You know, when you have thoughts to be something, the emotional component, your emotional body kicks in, and how bad do you want it? Are you excited over it? And mind doesn't have feelings to it. Mind doesn't have excitements or depression or things. That's not the mind. Emotions. That's a whole body. That's called the astral body. And that's a whole different body. Your physical body does not have emotional components to it. It's a chemical machine. It has 5 senses. It can neurologically sense, but then your emotional body registers and your mental body registers. When you're experiencing something here physically, emotionally, and everything else, it isn't just your physical body that's engaged. That's why you have your multiple bodies. When you get here, you've taken on the mind and you've taken on your emotions. So these are separate bodies, and you can use those. Like when one of these dad passed, he still has his mind and his emotional body. Oh yeah, he just dropped his physical body. That's all we drop, unless we worked ourselves higher, and then you're going to drop all the body, depending where your consciousness is, where you worked yourself. So this is a case of low adrenals, low kidney function, high lymphatic stagnation, lymph nodes are swelling, and who knows for how long. Again, you know, one of the negative things here that's bad is if your lymph nodes get hardened or they atrophy, you've got 100 houses, probably 100 or maybe even 1,000 houses feeding into one septic system. Problem: what happens when your septic tank goes down? What happens to your house? So when your lymph nodes go down, what happens to your cells? So that's the big deal we're in. And then medical doctors are using antibiotics for that. It's like, right, killing the very thing your body needs, and you're in it to help get rid of these or break down these acids. That's what bacteria does, guys, is break down acids, and the medical doctors like to kill them. So what do you think? They must like you to be acidic. Can't think of any other reason other than blaming the microbes for the problems in the first place. Well, I think I'm going to do my little lunch thing, and I'll be back. You guys are a lot of fun. I get a little quirky sometimes, but you guys are a lot of fun, and I just love what you're learning. Somewhere I just looked down here talking about parathyroid. What? Wanted her to get a risky surgery done to remove the parathyroid. Well, you got 4 parathyroid glands. So, wow. You know what? Nobody wants to fix anything. They just want to remove things. And if you're the recipient of a removed organ or gland, particularly a gland, life is not fun anymore. Nope. So, you know, some things like tonsils and stuff, things can be removed and you don't really notice things for a while. But when you have major organs removed or glands, that you're starting to talk about a whole other serious level of problems, you know. And that's you can fix all this stuff. Why would you want to remove it? You know, I mean, you can try to grow some of them back, but if you haven't changed the consciousness of the cells of the body, you're going to have the same consciousness. That's a whole understanding of how you get the mutation of a cell. You can't get a cell out of tissue to the lymph nodes because the highway is stagnant. You're going to mutate a lot of cells. And that's what they see, the atrophy of a whole tissue area. Had you had a good moving lymph, you wouldn't have had atrophy, first of all, of the cell at all, unless you're dealing in a highly stagnant genetic area. And then that should be able to fix easy if you had everything else done. Anyway, I'll see you back here in a short period of time. This is going to be a long video. Sorry. Love you guys. Back from lunch. Hey, Dr. Morse, thank you so much for taking the time to make these videos. You're welcome. You're entirely welcome. As long as they help you, I'm happy. I'm writing this on behalf of my grandma. Oh, wow. Who has a large tumor on her neck. Yuck. On her parathyroid gland, or one of them. She had her tonsils removed. Look at this. She had her tonsils removed, a hysterectomy, breast cancer, had a lymphoid removed under the arm, and no longer sweats there, as well as radiation. Oh yeah, they fried her there so she can't even sweat. So the lymph nodes can't even come clean, whatever ones are still there. You know, it's just sad stuff to see that. You know, they... In the advent of thinking they're trying to help you, they compromise your ability to get well and your future experiences, and that's kind of sad, you know. So automatically we know this poor lady has got serious lymphatic problems. But the sad thing is that no one has told her, except you guys, or whoever this grandson or granddaughter, helping their grandma. And that's nice. That's very nice of you. Since she had radiation. So this is kind of a sad thing here, and has mercury fillings. Roswell wanted her to get a risky surgery done to remove the parathyroid, but I put her on the 14-week protocols with only fruits. She made it 3 weeks on fruit only with the herbs before binging on cooked animal products, pizza, chicken, etc. But you did get her to do it that long. And she had to get her butt kicked when she ate that food after 3 weeks on fruit, and then you go into chicken and all that. Oh, pizza. I'd be flatly dead. That would actually kill me, probably. To be serious, if I ate a pizza after 3 weeks just on fruit, I'd kill me. It kills me now. If I even take a little bite of it, I can't stand it. It's the worst of the worst. You have every no there is on a pizza. White flour, because you can get a whole grains. Granted, still, you got the flours. Then you got the cheeses. Then you got the tomato sauces, but you could get the white sauce. And then you got the meat stuff, or you get the vegetarian, but you know what you get with that. So, I mean, it's got everything bad. Acid tomatoes, cooked. Your starches, your meats, yuck. She then stayed on the herbs before they ran out while eating fruit all day and steamed veggies at night. Better with Himalayan salt and pepper. She still cheated, give or take, 1 to 3 times a week on animal food. Well, you know, that's a big jump, though, for a grandmama. You know, remember, a grandmama. They're pretty set in their ways sometimes, those grandmamas. Can you please tell her what she should be doing? Oh, grandmama, listen. Your granddaughter, grandson here, got no name here, so I can't tell. But it's enough to say that you got a mighty fine, a grand person to worry about you like that. It's enough to say that your lymphatic system's down, meaning your kidney and adrenals are down, sweetheart, and you want to fix this because as you start getting tumors climbing more up to the brain, yeah, more serious problems can happen here, and you just don't want to go there. You know, getting into the brain and Alzheimer's, dementia, tumors, losing all your hair, stuff like this, honey, that's not a good place to go. And you're a grandmama, meaning you have a lot of grandbabies. So it's enough to say is you need to get on the fruit, berries, and melons only. Get on a herbal program. Have a counselor here either put your feet on the right path or do our 14-week protocol, but you got to get moving. And you want to get your kidneys filtering, get your lymph moving because you are in trouble, honey. And if your grand person is right, it's post-breast cancer or is breast cancer active now? But all that's lymphatic. Remember that. This is all lymphatic acid sewage backed up. Means you got a blockage. Where's your blockage? Kidney and adrenals. You've had a hysterectomy because of that. You had your tonsils removed because of that. So this goes back to when you were a child. Your grandmama had lymphatic problems as a baby. So you can see by now what it's doing. See, after time, you just have simple tonsils removed, have these things removed, and after time, you start getting the big tumors. You know, I mean, it's just, if you don't address the cause and you don't address that system and fix it properly, you're just at a crap table. Oh, I got good numbers this time. I want her to be more strict and jump on the fruit bandwagon, but she's having a hard time. Well, I can imagine that, but if she gets on the right herbs, it'll get the fungus out of her, and she won't be looking for the cheese. She won't be looking for that. It'll help her to stay stronger with the proper diet. And it doesn't take that long, Grandmama. With you, though, I don't know the whole situation here, but you don't want to remove your parathyroids. You have several parathyroid glands, but the problem with them is that that's how you utilize your calcium. No parathyroids, no utilization of calcium. Just look at people that their parathyroids are down, and what do you see? Hernias, aneurysms, petechia, bruising easy, varicose vein, spider veins, heart arrhythmias, neurological problems. Can we go on? Osteopenia, osteoporosis, bone spurs, the detached retinas and pupils and everything else. The prolapses of organs and glands. Can we keep on going? That's how important the parathyroid is. but she's having a hard time bringing on animal products, even though her life could literally depend on it. You know, lady, lose the animals. You don't have to eat dead animals to be happy. You know, that's the thing. When your life right here, this lady's life is in jeopardy here. You can't just keep removing parathyroids and tumors in the breast and underarms and stuff, because one of these days soon it's going to get you, because it's everywhere, and now it's moving itself up into the brain area, and not good. So if you want to live and take care of grandbabies, one has to get focused properly. And I suggest, Grandma, if you're watching this, that you review these videos and get real smart real quick. Because if not, then you're a product of a leaf blowing in the wind out there. And very, very, very few practitioners, and most of them are found on this site, Artie, the Raw Figs. In other words, our people know how to fix you. But very few outside of our people do. So I don't know what to tell you. Your person here probably can fix you. That's how smart these people are getting on these videos. But these are educational videos. I designed this to help you learn and help others overcome these type of lymphatic problems. Because if they don't, this person hasn't got a chance in heck. She's popping all over the place. Now it's getting closer up into the brain. She'll get to the point where she can't get them out fast enough. So really gotta bear down on this. Just to eat a few dead animals, not worth that desire. Matter of fact, you want to deworm her because she could have a tape in her or something. If she's desiring animal products that bad, then you want to deworm her for sure. I'd deworm her quick too, because my guess is she has worms or something like that. You generally crave meat, can't get away from it like that if you have a tapeworm. Oh, I love cold water. It's very frustrating, isn't it? Isn't it? But you know what? On the flip side to this, you remember that people pass from this world because we're only here temporarily. It isn't a bad thing. It's a natural thing. It is a for sure thing. Nobody, this is a place you stay for a short period. When you have out-of-body experiences, or some of you that are being taken or can go to some of these dimensions where you get into the cities and where a lot of the beings are, you'll be glad you left this place. You'll be so glad you turned around and left this place. I can't even tell you. Everything from here, I'm going to use this figuratively because it's not that, up, out, is bigger, better, nicer, happier, that sort of thing. This is a kick-your-butt world. So, if Grandma passes with this, just remember she's going to pass someday anyway. And she just she wasn't spiritual enough to get herself under control enough to take care of this. And there are plenty of souls like her out here that can do that. And it's frustrating, especially for you young people, to watch your parents and grandparents pass when they didn't need to. They could have fixed it real easy, and the sad thing is you know it. And matter of fact, most of you probably could fix your own parents and grandparents. They just don't listen. And there's that syndrome out there. And that's ostrich with the head up the you-know-what syndrome. Nothing you can do about it. It's human consciousness. It's unconscious. It's so many levels. And all you can do is teaching her that why to raw and understand why she has to do the fruit. She herself needs to understand what's going on with her lymphatic system, understand that, and understand why the fruit. Maybe if she understands more of what she's up against, then she'll feel more empowered to do this. Right now, maybe she doesn't know enough. So I'd have her review some of these videos, my dear one, and thank you so much for helping your grandmama and writing in like that. Oh, Lorene Lobo. Hello, Lorene. I am wondering whether you could help me. I am perimenopausal and have had many health issues this year. All right? So let's look at this. And this is how this individual writes this. I don't know whether this is a male or female. But, oh, that's right, it's a female. I am wondering, okay, so here's one. Gastritis due to GERD, G-E-R-D. So can I reverse that? Can I reverse that and say your acid reflux is due to gastritis, or at least partly? Yeah, let's do that. Let's don't say that medical doctor's name a acid reflux GERD just so you could treat it. You know, the thing is, you could treat GERD as a disease if you're a medical doctor. If you're another doctor of some sort, you can't, because it's a disease now. See, remember, diseases are owned by the medical community. You have to apply to the state to get a license to be able to practice using under the medical guise. And unfortunately, that's spread into chiropractics and everything else. So gastritis is due to GERD. No, it's the other way around. But let's look at gastritis just for a minute. Gastritis, all right? So you look at gastritis, inflammation of the stomach, right? So let's look at a couple of things here. If you were instigating hydrochloric acid, which has a pH of slightly below 2, hotter than you know what. Remember, Coke is a pH of 3, so your stomach acids are about 12 to 15 times hotter than Coke. All right, so they're pretty hot. Coke will break down tissue, but you know, hydrochloric acid will chew it up. That's how hot these acids are, and that's the level of chemotherapy today. It used to be hotter. It used to be more battery acid. Now it's a little cooler. Now it's only around stomach acids. Enough to chew up tissue, of course. So when you have gastritis, whenever you have an itis, gastritis, enteritis is an inflammation of the small bowel, colitis, of course, the colon, arthur, right, the joints, and you go on and on and on with the itises. So anything that's an itis, stamp in your brain, acid. Acid. Isis, acid. And so is isis, acid. You know, and that's the problem. It's stagnation of acids. That's a whole big problem. So when you have a stagnation of acids, we use the word inflammation, which is a natural immune response to proteins, to acids, or pathogens or whatever, but to acids. And whatever that immune response is, you got interleukins, you've got all kinds of immune responses, including cholesterol, calcium, and edema. So, when I have gastritis, even though it's in my stomach, the cause is back in my kidneys and adrenals. Remember, you're looking at the effect. Think cause. Well, to think cause, you have to know a little bit about how the body's structured. All right? A bunch of cells, kitchen, bathroom. That's pretty easy. A bunch of cells in a kitchen and a bathroom. In other words, a bunch of cells, a fluid called blood, and a fluid called lymph. The fluid called lymph is 80% of the fluid of those two, and the blood only 20%. Interesting. Puts things in a different perspective, doesn't it? How come the medical community knows the least about the lymph system, which is the largest fluid in the human body? Pain in neck and dizziness and loss of balance after the GERD was diagnosed. Well, throw the GERD out of your mind. It has nothing to do with any of this. You're walking down the line to Hellville with acidosis. And this whole thing that's backed up in your intestines and your GI tract is also backed up in your cerebellum here. This is the cerebellum. We talk about it all the time here, and you guys are getting real good at understanding that. This is where your optic nerves cross and go back to, so you can have eye problems, cloudiness and stuff. You can have dizziness, equilibrium problems. Remember, this is your vertigo, equilibrium, dizzy center, plus swinging, blood pressure, low, high, low, can't seem to get it under balance. Cerebellum. And when you're having these kind of experiences, cold back here, cold as alkaline, cools down acid, reduces swelling, things like that. But you know what's up. That's the lymphatic system, meaning your kidneys and adrenals are where your problem is, and you need to get there. At the same time, clean up your bowels, clean up that. So we can clean up the GI tract, but still, we're after the interstitial stagnation of lymph in the stomach. So no matter you see us going after the GI tract and cleaning the mucosa and cleaning out all the impactions, but we're also in the lymph system in the body, which is through all those tissues. Remember, your lymph system flows around every cell you got, pretty much. You get into the bloodstream, things are slightly different. shaky legs. See, I don't like anything you're saying here, Lorraine. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't like a lot of things because I know where they go. That's probably the problem with me, is I know where you're going with this. And when I get cases like you that is advanced, we have to work you back out of this. And so this is definitely, see guys, this is the setup for MS and Parkinson's and Lou Gehrig's right here. See how she's talking? She's getting the shaky legs. Pretty soon it'll be a drop foot or a drop leg. See where we're going here? And it's up in the head area, so she could have dizziness and stuff like this. The next thing, of course, is brain lesions. Brain lesions is just acids chewing on you. That's all that is. Get rid of the acids. So this is some stuff. I don't like this teeny 4 millimeter polyps on my gallbladder. Yeah, don't worry about it. That'll come out of there. High cholesterol of 6. Well, it's enough to say that you're so acidic that your body's trying to fight, which shows you that your body can't use adrenal steroids much because your adrenals are down. So your body's going right to the liver, going right to the cholesterol, because you've got to fight acids. You know, the whole gig is this. Simple, simple, simple. Acids win, you lose. Acids win, you lose. That's simple. Heavy periods needing to stay home. Yeah. You need to detox yourself, sweetheart. I would douche with the Heal-All tea, even though it's hard to get up that high, but still douche. Clean yourself down there a little bit with the Heal-All tea. At the same time, you got to get in, get your kidneys filtering, get all that matrix up there. And my guess is you're either going to have low or high blood pressure, depending on your age here. What are the drugs to take without giving my body an overdose? Yeah, you wrote to the wrong guy. Don't use drugs. And I don't use drugs, and I don't get into that. I am 51 years old, 54 kilos, and only 5 foot tall, so the dosage should not be high. I feel fatigued and weak. Well, Lorraine, you're only 5 foot tall, so where does that take us, guys? Oh, yeah. So here we got a lady with a pituitary problem. So that means her thyroid and parathyroid's down. That's why her heavy period's right there. So you got to fix your pituitary, your thyroid, and your parathyroid. But you've got the lymph backed up in the neck. You've got your inflammation in your head area. Your legs are getting, your nervous system's going down here. Your cholesterol, your body's trying to fight this high acidosis. So you really want to get in there and get your adrenals up. And I can't. If I was to sit and give everybody a personal protocol, I would only get to 2 or 3 people. So that's why I did the protocol video. That's why I say just go to that protocol video. But it's enough to say you need some help. And upper circulation and brain and nerve is standard issue in your case. Standard issue. Upper circuit, brain and nerve. Upper circuit, brain and nerve, honey. Whoo-wee. And you want to get after it. You want to get after this lymph system of yours like yesterday. Because I don't like anything here. Now look at all this stuff we're seeing here today with all the tumors on the necks and all this kind of stuff. And Lorraine, this stuff isn't good here, honey. You want to drain all this out. This has got to settle. GERD is that's the symptom too. We're talking about causative factors, and GERD is a symptom, or what? That's a label that the medical doctors gave it. Love that. You have acid reflux. But why? Carla, hi Carla. Can you please do a video about protein? Ooh. I find myself constantly having to explain to people about how it's not going to help them, only hurt them. And of course nobody wants to listen because the protein thing is such a big industry right now. Isn't it though? I'm telling you, they're raking in. And what a perfect ploy. Because one, you can get people sick as a dog, kill them almost, of course, and then you can make all kinds of money off of them for doing it, for eating the proteins. And the poor bodybuilders and things, those poor guys and gals, they're for the sake of having a popping out the muss, they're losing their kidneys. Thank God there's some super smart bodybuilders out there that are now turning to the vegan styles and stuff, getting away from the protein so people don't lose their kidneys. Smart guys. And that's where we need to go with all our athletics and everything else. Get away from these proteins, because it's the proteins that you have the greatest immune response to. And going back to looking at proteins, realize that is the lowest part of mother's milk. And there's a reason for that, of course, and that is because that's the acid side of chemistry. And you see that in fruits, berries, and melons as well, and vegetables. The ratios of the proteins are low, depending on the structure Depends on the structure of the plant or the fruit or the vegetable, because in the vegetables the structures, a lot of cellulose structures, but also heavier amino acid structures, where the fruit tends to have a lighter amino acid structures. Plus it isn't the protein. The word protein is a word that the body can't even use. See, when you look at protein and you look at the digestion of protein, it's very obvious that the body can't use protein, because the consumption of a protein means that you have to now invoke hydrochloric acid now to turn on the pepsins and to break down these protein structures into polypeptides, and then from the polys down into peptides and then into the aminos. The peptides and the aminos, those are all done in the duodenum with trypsin and chymotrypsin from the pancreatic duct. But that is an alkaline finishing up. The initial acid breakup is like a wrecking ball taking in and breaking down the structure of a building. All right? Then that is polypeptides. That all then dumps into the duodenum, the small bowel, and that's where then the alkalinity, the bicarbonate, essential. Because remember, the stomach acid is a little below 2. Now you've got to get up to about 7.5 in the duodenal area, right through the doorway, right through the sphincter. I'm moving from a highly acid check, burning me, get me out of here, get me out of here. Oh, this is cooling me down. Oh yeah. Now I'm in the small bowel. Now I'm into alkaline digestive enzymes. Acid and alkaline digestive enzymes together neutralize each other. That's why when you have a protein and a starch sandwich, it just sits and sits and sits and sits, because you just neutralize the enzymes. And that was always my bitch about digestive enzymes giving HCl with the rest of them. You got acids with bases. That doesn't work. You know, I've got a whole thing. I have our club book, I have a whole chapter on proteins, and in my book. So get my book, and I laid all that out on the proteins. And maybe I'll do another video. We did a video on proteins somewhere way back. Maybe it's one of the ones that YouTube took off. YouTube took a bunch of my videos off. Probably several hundred. So I don't know, I don't know whether they think I'm anti-government or what it is. I'm not anti-government at any stretch of the imagination. I'm anti-corrupt government. I'm anti-corruption, because what it does is it implodes everything and everybody. Everything and everybody's affected by corruption. And these are just narcissistic individuals and stuff like this, and it's like, wow, whoa. But it's the nature of this level. This is a very unconscious level. The human consciousness is relatively new. So you can see its level of immaturity is obvious, quite obvious. It's just that human state of consciousness. We're playing that game where we're involved in that, and that's why I'm teaching you guys to pull back from thought, and you'll be out of the human consciousness into pure consciousness. And that's like, it's like going from a dark room into a room where the sun is shining. That's the difference. Huge difference. But I feel for you, Carla, because I know exactly. People are just so hyped up on proteins, and it's a sad, sad thing, because you have even Monsanto using the hype. These guys are pumping the hype all over the place. And of course, soy's hype. The hype on soy was real big here. And that was Monsanto's big deal. The hype up the soy as a nutritive food. And of course, that was the food of choice they chose. They chose a crap bean to play with genetically modifying. And they said, oh, well, we'll just make this crap bean into some wonder food. Sorry, Chinese, but soy is a crap bean. We're farmers. I know very much about soybeans. Even doctors are pushing even naturopaths, and it makes me sick, because you put someone, as I told you about this one medical doctor, he puts them, he's a little natural thinking too, but he puts them on the whey proteins, even the whey proteins, which is, what you're going to get from that. And as soon as their cancer markers start soaring, he sends them right over here, and I have to hear their story. Yeah, they put me on the paleo high protein diet, and man, my markers. I just started going. I said, he knows better. He knows better. I've told him over and over and over, leave the proteins off, because every time he does it, he sees the escalation of the problem. At a certain point in time, when you see the escalation of a problem when you give them something, aren't you going to say, maybe I shouldn't be giving this to you? Come on. We have to have some dignity and some values here in life. I mean, I don't see that in many other modalities, to be honest with you. To have some dignity and stuff like that, it's just like total unconsciousness here. But, protein is on the nitrogen side of life. And that's the acidic side of life. We use, proteins are important, but not that important. Most of them are used as carriers in the body. Few, of course, as muscle builders, but that's not basically what your aminos are involved in. To tell you the truth, a lot of other things are involved in. They bump up with your carbons and create all kinds of things. Now, all kinds of chemistry is created with the union of these type of chemistry. But proteins, as a rule, are the most mucosic responsive. In other words, the most mucus forming. The dairy proteins, for sure, is just so bad that, real bad. And if you have anybody, and we're just talking about these two babies with cystic fibrosis, you never, ever give up anybody for sure, but a baby with cystic fibrosis, you give them milk. I'll put it this way. Giving a baby milk will guarantee your heart being ripped out of your body, Mom, and stepped on the rest of your life. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I've worked with cystic fibrosis in my life, and guaranteed. You want your babies off of milk yesterday and on fruit, berries, and melons, and no matter what you see coming up and out, and what the fevers are and whatever, because you know what cystic fibrosis is? So, this is not good stuff. And there's some things that you cannot do without extremely emotional, painful consequences. That's all I can tell you. But these proteins, man just got caught up in that. We are an islander species. Remember I tell you about some of the islanders. I tell you about the 96-year-old lady. I tell you about the 102-year-old man. I get islanders up here in their later 90s, hundreds, looking young, looking good, raised predominantly on fruit. Now they're not, and that's why they're having problems now. But in their earlier lives, they were raised exclusively on fruit. They have their teeth. Their lymph systems aren't too bad, except for, as they got older, they got into the, standard foods. But their foundation, imagine being 20 years old and been raised exclusively on fruit. You can't imagine. So it's neat to see that. And you can't make that claim with proteins. Take a look at people that eat the proteins, and the best place to go is Alaska. Notice that if you listen to those Alaska programs and listen to those guys talking, they'll tell you eat all protein, you're in trouble. Some of those guys are younger than they look, because they're high protein. Remember, Eskimos, the average age of an Eskimo used to be 46 years old. Same as about in Jesus' time. Anywhere you see higher protein diets, you see earlier deaths. But this is the acidic side of life, and these are the bad boys. And if you want to lose your kidneys and your GI tract, remember, there's been study after study after study, and I'm not so much into studies, but I like a study after study after study, showing that high protein diets, and high protein can be 40 grams or more. Well, 40 grams. The average, when I grew up, we were all consuming about 300 to 400 grams of protein a day. I mean, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, guys. The recommendation today is 20 to 40. And I don't even recommend that much. It's just a thing, and you'll see it when you get into your body. That these are stimulants. These are acid formers, bad stuff, and certain proteins will rip you, like the gluten proteins, the dairy proteins. Bad news bears. And one of the worst foods for destroying kidney tissue is proteins. But the best way to tell you that, spend about a month. Well, you guys that don't believe me, you spend about a month, even 2 weeks, on your fruits, your berries, your melons, and your salads. Try a raw diet, maybe steamed vegetables for a month. No meats, no nothing like that. And then go out and have your big meat and potatoes. And you tell me, especially for those of you that are in pain, go out and do that for me and let me know. Give me a feedback on that. But I feel, Carla, I understand where you are, sweetheart, and I get that. I've tried to write as much about the negative side of the proteins in my books and stuff and tried to bring it lost. Matter of fact, we've got a new chart out, and I got to make sure she's, I'm going to write that down so she get that, but I've got the 5 worst foods you can eat. And it's a chart you can buy and give someone. I think we're $5. I forget what we're asking for, but it's a 5 worst foods, and then on the back I explain why. And then you just hand it to people. And that way you don't have to get tripped up too much. You can hand it to people, and that way you've got you've got a tool you can use to explain, and get a crutch you can use. And that way you can have something to jump off of in your conversations. So I'll make sure it's in our book now. It's in the club book, but I'll make sure that she gets that coded and everything, you know. And then that'll help you out, Carla, in cases like that where you. But again, I would suggest that you go out in the woods or on a beach or somewhere and just sit down and talk to the universe. Get your, talk to them about how bad proteins are, and just get into that sort of factor. That these are the acid side of chemistry, and that your blood is a base dominant chemistry, and by eating dominant acid foods, you're now moving your blood chemistry toward the acid side, meaning it has to steal calcium out of it. So the symptoms you see from someone that is consuming high acid diets, petechia, brucini's, mean the connective tissue, they lost so much calcium in connective tissue so weak they're blowing and popping, little aneurysms. Of course, aneurysms, boom, down you go. Hernias. Proteins are great for causing hernias because, remember, protein is antagonistic to calcium. Phosphorus is on the acid side of chemistry. Calcium is on the base side of chemistry. So they're antagonistic, although they ionize each other. That's how you get bone matrix. They come together with other factors and create bone matrix. But it's still the little brother. In chemistry, phosphorus is the little brother. We eat it like it's the older brother. But in chemistry, if you look throughout the land of plants and everything, chemistry is really favors carbohydrates, number one. Look at human mother's milk. And that's even on a crappy high-protein diet that a mother can be on. The milks don't reflect that. The milks show back to number one, carbohydrates, half of that the lipids, and half of that then, again, the proteins. So, really, mother's milk is predominantly carbohydrates. That's your sugars. What about that? This self-feeding baby milk, it's got sugar in it. Didn't you know that galactose is your simple milk sugar? You got to have sugars, guys. Essential. It's the reverse of what this society is teaching. But they're not understanding the starch, fungus, adrenal glands. People don't understand that. So they lump everything into under one sky. And that's kind of sad. We need to articulate a little more about things instead of just lumping things under one sky. Fungus can't have sugar, can't have this. That's all. That's pseudo thinking. That's not even prudent thinking. Andrea, isn't that right or something? Andrea. Good afternoon, and it is the afternoon. It was perfect. It is 2:45 here in Port Charlotte, Florida. I am Portuguese, and I love Portuguese. I am 26. I had a clinic in Lisbon for a while. I am 26, and I have a problem about 3 years, and would like to know your opinion. I'm allergic to most fruits. I can only eat baked apple, melon, cantaloupe, and strawberries. Eat all other fruits, get an upset stomach, vomiting. I get diarrhea, and for 3 to 4 hours, I'm full of pain. Wow, I don't like that. But I've heard people before say that, when certain foods give them pain in the stomach and stuff. You would really, Andrea, want to take a picture of your eyes and see what you're looking at, because you're looking at stomach, gallbladder, liver, pancreas. You look right in that area right there and what's going on here, because fruit is astringing, and it looks like that when you astringe, you get pain, and that's possible. When you start pulling on tissue, it's so inflamed, it causes you a lot of pain, and you could be ulcerated too and not know it. And you would feel those sort of things too when you're ulcerated like that. So what I do is you can handle some good thing like a baked apple and stuff. Put a little cinnamon on that. I would probably stay around those type of foods. At the same time, get on the herbs. Let the herbs do what the foods can't. And I would go into the slippery elm or marshmallow to coat to soothe. It's anti-inflammatory, so it'll soothe. So I would go that way, or the stomach tea, and start working yourself out of that, because that is a serious problem when you can't eat fruit and you get pain when you do. Very serious problem in the gut. So you want to take a look. Is it your stomach? Is it the liver, gallbladder? Where is that? Because then you want to vomit. So even that powerful need on the liver, gallbladder, you could be really stoned up in the liver, gallbladder. So you just got to work on these tissues. Don't eat what you can't eat, but try and push what you can eat in terms of fruits, berries, and melons. If you have to, slip down to some green drinks with that, and then head on with that diet, and then use the herbs to fix you. And it won't be long, you'll be able to eat more fruit, and then you'll get past this problem. I'm full of pain. I've done an endoscopy with biopsy, abdominal ultrasound, among others, and the doctors did not find anything. That's why you need the iris picks. This is soft tissue problems probably, and you need to have the iris picks. They can't see soft tissue with the scopes and the scans that you just talked about. So you need the iris look. That'll tell you more what's hidden that they can't see. And that's where I'd be going with you, what's going on with that area. I would love to know, Dr. Morse. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, yeah, absolutely, honey. Yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd use stomach herbs and get on our program or first kit. You might even have parasites. Who knows? You just don't know. People traipse a lot of places. So a good detox, my dear one, is in order for you. And you eat the fruits and the melons you can. That's enough here. It's okay. And then maybe a green drink or two a day if you want, and go down that road and get well with that. If you have to, use an antispasmodic for the pain when you eat like that to kind of control that pain, because it sounds like you start spasming. And that could be, that's inflammation. So that could be liver, gallbladder, it could be pancreas, it could be stomach, it could be, all kinds of things. But to stop that, you don't have to know exactly where it is to know how to stop things, because you do know what? That the body's a bunch of cells, whether it's a liver, whether it's a gallbladder, whether it's a pancreas, whether it's a bowel, doesn't matter. We also know that the cells are all lumped together with spaces around them called interstitial spaces. That's the spaces around the cells. Like a movie theater, everybody's sitting in their own seat, and then the spaces between all the seats would be interstitial. In the body, you have blood and lymph fluids in those spaces. The lymph being 80%, blood being 20%. Tells you how important the lymph is. So when you have stagnation, your kidneys are not filtering no longer. Your skin is shut down. 80% of that interstitial fluid now becomes stagnant. So you can see how it shoves the blood out. So you can see why cells atrophy or decay. Absolutely. That's all it is. You can use the fancy word cancer, but all it is atrophy and decay of a cell. And what side of chemistry does that? The protein acid side. Youngest? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Young? I'll call you Mr. Young. Young'un-man. I have a happy, active 1-year-old with a visible vein between his eyes. Interesting. I believe he has compression in his skull. Sometimes he gets a vertical ridge in the middle of his forehead. Sometimes disappears. I've read this is common when the plates fuse earlier than usual. But maybe it has to do with lymphatic pressure. Maybe. Sometimes his dark circles under his eyes. well, then you know he has kidney problems. But to be honest with you, at 1 year old, you're definitely going to have kidney and adrenals. In today's world, come on. So you know your baby's going to have kidney problems. Therefore, they're going to have lymphatic problems, right? But where do you think my thinking is on this? All right, you got a weakness of a vein showing itself, right? All right, so you have almost like a spider or a varicose vein showing itself, so you know it's weak connective tissue. And we got some things going on with the skull. Okay, so you're daggone right. I'm looking at parathyroid with this young man. 1 year old, too. So perhaps the endocrine gland formula would be good. Now, this baby's 1 year old. Total fruits for this kid. Total. That'd be perfect for him. And coconut water and stuff like that. Be perfect for this child. 1 year old, perfect. 3 months old, boom. We've had plenty of 3-month-old babies right on the fruits. So, perfect stuff. So, time to get this young person well. I would be addressing the parathyroid gland, and I'd be very seriously trying to get a picture of this young man or the girl's eyes, because I would seriously want to watch this infant's growth. And if I saw that the growth was under, then I would be thinking more pituitary or thymus. Again, you want to think endocrine gland, and it might be a nice little formula to stop giving your baby a couple of drops of endocrine gland in the mouth. It's all berries. There might be one herb in there or two, but a couple of drops will make this young man grow good, you know. Dark circles under his eyes at 1 year old is not good. He eats fruit, but not super much, so we give him cooked veggies as well. Wow. He used to have eczema, but I gave him the Fab 4. I also give him superfood. This is a good mother. You know, Mom, good deal. You want to keep giving that. Think about that Fab 4 now and then. Keep working that baby of yours through the Fab 4 every few months for about a year and see that you get him all caught up. Make sure that skin is pretty and clean and the eyes look good and clear. You don't see any lymphatic issues with this young man or girl, lady, or child, whatever. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you know immediately now with the eczema that your baby had lymphatic stagnation. And just look at your lymph system, and that's your baby's. And just know that they have kidney and adrenals. Smart mom, use the Fab 4 on babies. Perfect, 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 perfect. She cleaned up his eczema, but make sure you did. So keep, every once in a while, go back to that. And you might think about the endocrine gland. That might be in your Fab 4. I'd keep using that and making sure this tones. If not, I would probably just do a drop or two of upper circulation. And I would probably scrape a little parathyroid glandular. My baby, because I know what happens when you don't utilize calcium as a baby. And nothing's good. Nothing is good. Nerve transmission, skeletal system, nerves, connective tissue. Nothing good. So, good mom. Good mom. Because all you can do is keep working your babies back to a state of Wellville, back to a state of health, no matter what you see. Because in genetics, and even babies, they go through healing crises a lot too. And sometimes it's frightening for the parents to see their babies going through healing crises. But let me tell you, what's more frightening is to have a baby with cystic fibrosis, knowing what that is and where that baby, if she didn't have anybody to go to like us, where that baby will go to. I mean, there's nobody out there that cures that kind of stuff. And you're going to know what that is. So these are the sort of things that that it's important that you guys are out there. It's very important that all of you guys are out there with a loving hand out there to those that might need your help. Or even if you drop something, don't get upset if they don't buy what you're talking about or whatever. Know that your very words are of truth and that you're reaching into that soul. The mind of that individual is probably preoccupied, right, and conditioned. So you're not addressing their mind. You're addressing the soul. I always address you as the soul. I never address your mind. I don't care what your mind is. I want the real you. Craig, hey Craig. I had a nasal operation which left my terminates severely damaged. Whoa, the terminados. From a result of this surgery, I suffer from a iatrogenic condition called empty nose syndrome. Wow. Oh, iatrogenic. Iatrogenic. That's an I, not an L. That's medically caused. Yeah. I cannot sense air. Wow. Paradoxical obstruction, although my nose and additional, I don't know. A lot of these things are all running together there for you. So he's got chronic nasal dryness. I can't even pronounce this word. Slow digestion, lightheadedness, rapid heartbeat, and neuropathy, all in one word. Slow digestion, lightheadedness, rapid heartbeat, neuropathy. Well, young man, if you have those things, those are all serious things. Slow digestion, that's thyroid, lightheadedness, inflammation in the back of the head, acidosis, tachycardia, thyroid, or acid stimulation to the heart or the nervous system. Neuropathy, of course, again, a highly acid condition where you're breaking down the myelin sheaths and stuff. Absolutely, you could be born with the nerve rings and stuff, which is already the myelin sheaths down, and then not a far cry to neuropathy. Subtle chronic rash on my nose. Now, see, this is telling the tale right here. Look at this. Subtle chronic rash on my nose with small broken blood vessels along my nostrils. So all I can say is somewhere probably in your upline, they've had trauma to the face and carried that over through genetics. And I bet if you looked in the face and the nostril area that you could see some weaknesses there in that area. So for me, and what you're writing here, I go back to, I'm seeing kidney and adrenals here. I'm seeing lymph stagnation. Here's the lightheadedness, the cerebellum. You can only have that with that. Acidosis. Your thyroid is definitely a bit of an issue here because you get your rapid heart, you got your tachycardia and a slow digestion. That means you're a slow oxidizer. That's hypothyroidism. The neuropathies, of course, is an indication, one that you probably have had. You haven't said your age here, but if you're older, you could be creating that, but younger, you probably already were born with myelin sheath weakness. All these can be turned around, of course, if you're asking me. Now, this subtle chronic rash on my nose tells the whole story right here, and why you had to have surgeries and stuff like that. So all you want to do is get 100% raw and head off to regeneration. Regeneration, and let the body regenerate the surgery, what the surgeon did and everything else. Just have the body redo it, because it's the only thing that can is your own body now. And trust in your body to do that. But you have to give it the power to do that, since you're the conscious one, not the body. A bunch of cells and two fluids. A nervous system, how we feel and everything else, but reality is the human body is very simple in that way. The complexity is in the other bodies more even. So it's just enough to say that you have a lot of stagnation of lymph up here, and get this all out of here. My guess is you can get the dryness out of there. This whole thing, just the lightheadedness, all this, that all shows that you have a lot of lymph stagnation in the head area. Well, that's frightening, because remember, we're not only the head pressures, the cholesterol plaquing in the head, the strokes, the heart attacks, the brain lesions. I mean, we just go on and on and on. All fit under the lymph system and the acid sky. Every one of them. And you can correct every one of them, prove that, by correcting every one of them, by jumping on the other side of chemistry, getting on the fruits, berries, and melons, detoxing and regenerating with the herbs. Voila! You can't prove it doing any other way at all. But that's where I would be going. Structural collapse of sidewalls. Wow. Okay. Now, structural. Where am I going? And you already know you got a thyroid down, right? Okay, because that is, your thyroid controls the rate of metabolism. And that is digestion. as well. And that is either called a slow hypo or fast hyperoxidizer. So it's just enough to say that your whole head's down in that way. Now the question, is your pituitary down with it? That's the only question you have to answer this, Craig, is you have to answer for yourself, and that's going to take a pick. It's going to take a pick of those eyes, because you want to fix this, because this could have far-reaching effects all through your brain, your memory, your happiness and joy, and all the other crap out there, not to mention the not breathing and smelling thing. So you haven't told me you can't smell yet, but maybe you do. But it's enough to say that you got to regenerate. And I would use upper circulation for about, actually I would use upper and lower circulation for this. I'd use brain and nerve, upper and lower circulation. Enough said for that side. Now I'm heading off to the kidneys, the lymph, the bowels, the adrenals. See where I'm going? Absolutely. I want to take care of some things up here with your upper circulations and your circulations, moving blood into these frozen zones, but I want to get into those spaces where the lymph is stagnant. Remember that little red rash? All right, I want to get into where the lymph is stagnant, that's drying you up, and open up these doors. You know, some of you out there have dry eyes, dry mouths, acidosis. Acidosis. But fix that up, Craig, okay? Because this could be your future, and you haven't mentioned balding or anything. That's coming. So, I mean, all these things are coming. Hey, you can almost sit there and just tell everybody what they're going to be going through. Yep, going to be going through this, and this, and this, because it's standard. I mean, we're all the same. We're humans. We're using human bodies, I'll put it that way. The name is Michael. I have a complete rupture on the UCL ligaments in the elbow, which makes the joint unstable with laxity during certain movements. I bet. Oh, that's got to be creepy. Aside from surgery to repair the ligaments, I was wondering if the bones connective tissue formula would help to repair and regrow this. Absolutely. What else? All right, what else? As you always say, it's all just a bunch of cells. Just wondering if you've seen this happen before. What? Oh yeah, but what else? You want to do the bones connective tissue. What else? Parathyroid glands. You want to use a parathyroid glandular. I'd get the. We had to make us a 50 milligram one, so I'd use 2-3 times a day since you're in a stat need. Hitchhike that with the bones connective tissue three times a day, and now you're well on your way. Now remember, you have to move yourself into a base dominant diet, because here, going back to the lady's question on protein. See you later, calcium. That's our high protein diet. See you later, calcium. I don't know if they told you, but protein is not harmonious with calcium. It's on the other side of chemistry with calcium. See what I'm saying? Oh, wow. So, if you want to strengthen ligaments, connective tissue, muscles, tendons, but it's also strengthening what we're doing, but we're also strengthening that matrix up. One more thing. I seem to have had issues with my tonsils since childhood with infections and tonsil stones. Okay? I love those tonsil stones. Don't they? They smell real good. Almost like flowers. That's sewage. That is sewage, guys. And that's why people stink. That's why you stink inside. You're a food processing machine and you don't smell. You ever been to a slaughterhouse? Okay, so he says childhood with infections and tonsil stones, and they didn't know how to detoxify this lad. I understand from your videos that this means I'm fairly heavily backed up there. Yeah, that's your tonsils, the lymph nodes. You tell me. Lymph nodes are swelling, what do you think? Absolutely. Well, that just because they don't know the kidney connection yet, they haven't sat and thought it out or observed it out, because you can't think it out because there's no thoughts are conditioned. So you have to put observation to figure out how things work. You've got to see things from a higher viewpoint. If you're trying to see from the mind all the time, you're stuck because all your thoughts are preconditioned. All the books you read, all the schools you went to, all the churches and synagogues or whatever you went to, that's your mind. That's all those thoughts are conditioned. And they bounce off of that. to finally see something for what it is, you have to pull back a little bit and go, okay, let's take a look from another view. Let's try to get an overview. Overviewing is the only way to be as a healer or anybody else, and we don't have that in this world much. You guys are learning it, but to overview, you have to learn how to stop thinking. Oh wow, this gets more. Yeah, so you have to detox yourself, man. And go back kidneys and adrenals. Go back to the cause. Go back to where the blockage generally is, and that's in the kidneys and the adrenal glands. So go there and open that up. At the same time, hydrate and get everything moving and up and going. I really want to get it fixed up. However, the issue I have is that the bottom part of my left tonsil seems to hang down quite low and also has a small hole. Well, you're probably getting atrophy of the tonsil. I mean, this is all acid stuff, guys. And that's this is an example of my biggest fear with us dealing with atrophied cells and what medical doctors call cancer is that condition in the lymph nodes. Because we have some cases that we just can't seem to get. Their lymph system, they keep forming tumors, and it's like, what? And the only thing it can be is your lymph stagnation, lymph nodes atrophy, or something like that. Because if you lose a lymph node, you got houses on the other side of those lymph nodes. Remember, lymph nodes are septic tanks, and those houses now can't drain. They can drain to the lymph node, but then the lymph node's gone. So now you get it backed up all the way to the houses. And then that's inflammation. And then after a while, it's in the cell can no longer discharge their waste anymore because it's, garbage hasn't been picked up. It's frozen out there. And so now we have a serious cell mutation of the DNA, RNA, chromosome, mitochondria, blah, 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 all the organelles of the little cell. Because these are acids. And it just doesn't get any better. I mean, the whole thing just... Okay, so it sounds like your tonsils have atrophied by now, going down. Well, you got to turn them around. Got to get your lymph system moving to where you're filtering. Everything's filtering through. Get this one. I also have mild scoliosis in my lumbar. Now, lumbar, generally, L4, L5, that's the kidneys. As you go down in the lumbar, you're going to the bladder, the testicles, the prostate, the ovaries, as you go down that spine. And he's got some T-spine weaknesses, which I hope to rectify through detox. Well, you're talking about getting the parathyroid and working in that well. That's where you're going to help with this big time. So you can see I'm going back to your parathyroid for this one too. Okay? So it goes without saying that's a route you need to think about. I'm currently working through my protocols and striving to jumpstart my kidneys to get filtering so it will clean out the cerebral spinal fluid. There you go. And get all the lymph moving here. Right on, baby. Smart guy, Michael. Would chiropractic care be a benefit? I think so. Matter of fact, I think you guys are reading my friggin' mind. That's what I think. That's how good you guys are getting. I'm thinking now, since that lady discovered that the spinal fluid, is what she puts it, is kind of the detoxifier of the brain, at least, or up in the skull, or whatever, that would mean that if your spine is tweaked, because remember, all the blood, nerve, and lymph come down the spine and out, see? So you could tweak your lymph system, and I know that for sure. I'm still battling some compression in my lower spine. I've overworked my body for years. And so I have a little bit of that, and it affected my lymph system in my leg. And I'm going, oh, look at that. There must be some truth to that. See, because after a while, we have to learn by observation. They made some of the science. Now we have to use observation to determine what we're seeing. Now that we have some conditioned thinking to use, all right, they've discovered this, so that's conditioned thinking. Now, a lot of the conditioned thinking is theories. Well, you're not going far with that. But they did discover this, so that's not a theory. So you see where now that's a conditioned thinking. We know we've conditioned the mind. There's a lymph system there. We've taught the mind that. So now we can pull back. We know that's set in our library. That's set in our library. Now we can pull back and go, okay, Now let's see what we can observe. We can pull this out of our library and put it here in our jigsaw puzzle of putting the body and how it works lymphatically together. We know there has to be elimination of acid. We know the whole idea of dumping metabolic acids into the venous system is about as stupid as you can get. That sort of thinking. See where we're going with that and how conditioned thinking gets going? And then when you pop theories and then you start teaching theories, then that becomes part of the propaganda matrix, and then the mind is taught things that are not true. And so then people start spouting off like proteins and things like this, and they don't have a friggin' clue, really. They just heard it. I love my water. But I'm funny, I love cold water. The colder the better. I'm so hot inside, my body is burning. And I just love cold water. I can get that energy going and just fry my cells. So that cold water just cools me down. Martin. Hi, Maman. Oh my God. I can't even pronounce this word. It's like xantholasmia, whatever it is. What botanicals do you recommend to reverse this condition? Let me review this condition, Martin, and I will let you know. I've seen this word before, but I don't know what it is. Hello, can you help? My tendinitis is driving me mad. I bet. You're listening to it, that's why. I had earwax built up so bad in my right ear, my right side face went numb. Holy crap! Look at that. I had earwax built up so bad in my right ear, my right side of my face went numb. Holy moly! Boy, you got to candle those ears, 3 or 4 candles an ear, and then do it again in about a month from now. What I'd be doing, have now cleared ears but ringing still there 24 hours a day. That's your lymph system. That's pressure in your bodies. You've got to get everything kind of down. The fact that the earwax was there shows you how much lymphatic problems you have in the head, and you might not be feeling head pressure, but your lymph system's involved here, and that's something that you have to deal with here. And that'll finally get. The best way I can tell you is by getting the lymph system moving, all the pressures and all those sort of things come back to normal. Now, I am a listener, so I hear always innerly. Now, I try to get people to start listening, not outwardly, inwardly. Just stop and listen inside of yourself. What do you hear? And you know that God Worlds chart I made for you guys? Each level, each heaven has its own music, its own set of notes that reflects the energy of that plane. That's why there's Christian Gregorian chants, the old Catholicism, and the incense, walking down the halls and chanting words, and then you got the Hindus and the Om, you got the Ekkas and the Hu, and you got all these different sacred words. Each have different vibration depending where they come from. The Hu being one of the oldest and the highest. The Om's a good word, no question. But that's more of cosmic consciousness word. You want more of the soul plane and above. But with that said, it'll be confusing to people out there, but it's enough to say that, there's the music. You ever heard the term music of the spheres? Spirit, the prana, the life force, makes music as it moves. God is full of music. But, just detoxing, get all this pressure out of you and all that ringing will go down. But you still might want to start listening inwardly and pick up the music. Wow, it feels my head is being crushed inwards. Here's the problem, Chris. Acidosis and lymph stagnation. And you really want to get that out of there. That's why so much earwax. So you really want to get that out there and candle your ears every once in a while and get everything opened up. Neurolymphatics cold, go after the GI tract, go after the kidneys and the adrenals. Start opening up all your doors. And that'll pull that tendinitis out and a whole bunch of other stuff that you might be very happy you did. Because my guess is you're probably going to be getting some cataracts and some other things coming. Just saying. You know, there are certain things you can just about count on. Hey, Bartholomew. Hey, Dr. Morse. When I met you on YouTube 5 years ago, has it been 5 years? No way it hasn't been 5 years ago, has it? 5 years. Holy crap. We've been doing these 5 years together, guys. That's a long time, isn't it? I was very ill, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Oh, wow, man. You helped me to heal myself in ways I didn't even know was possible. Thank you. I could have done it without you. Thank you, my friend. Love you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your wisdom, your experience, your love, and your honesty. Oh, thanks. I have helped me heal my body. Thanks, man. Thanks. Love you too. Thanks, my friend. Lots of love to you too, eh, Bartholomew. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for that. Don't choke me up. Krista. It's easy to get that too much acid in the brain head. Yeah, it's easy to get that. Too much acid in the head brain causes hair loss. But what about texture? Oh, excellent question. Oh, good question, honey. Good question. Good question. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, good question. And only a woman would ask that. Or a male that was more aware. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought of that many times myself. Oh, yeah. Oh, texture, softness, coarseness. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And I wonder about the curly versus the straight. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny? The healthier hair that I see is the curly ones. But I don't know. I don't know. But you betcha. You betcha. You know, things... And Jensen, of course, he wasn't an outdoor man. You know, I'm an outdoor man. So I'm a little harder on my body than Doc was. Doc was more on the sit down chiropractor type of thing. And he was more of a naturopath than a chiropractor anyway. But he boasts about how soft and soft his skin is and his legs, got baby legs. But he's an indoor man. But with that said, he did dry skin brushing and all that, and that diet wasn't that good, but all some of the supplements and things he was pushing probably did keep the skin halfway decent. But, oh yeah, texture, length, everything. Well, you notice what happens to those that are getting hairless? Some of the ladies can't even grow eyebrows anymore. That's scary. I mean, this is the same thing as your fingernails not growing. All these sort of things. All under the acid sky. Flaky, peeling, ridged, coarse. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Oh, good question, Krista. Absolutely, honey. I was born with very minimal hair on head, and my hair takes forever to grow. Absolutely. And you're just right on it. Acid on brain. Acid in the skull. Absolutely, honey. Absolutely. Thank God what I take from these two discoveries is that you have a different lymphatic system for the tissues of the skull and a different one for the brain itself, the meninges itself. I'm just taking that as a guess. The top part grows slowly or not at all, and I have baby bangs. Will those grow out once blood and lymph start moving? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I have to cut my fingernails and toenails about every 3 days. Oh, yeah. I hate that, but you know what? Your fingernails want to be hard as rocks. I mean, you want to be healthy. Nice, soft, nice hair, everything. Absolutely. I wonder about the coarseness of hair, too. Now, I always wonder about, like you said, the texture of the hair. And that's what we need, is we need feedback from the ladies. Feedback from all you guys about all these different changes and stuff, because you guys are proving things that very few on this planet are going to be privy to know. So you're really right there in the beginning stages of putting this all together for the world. I really, you guys are really something else. But you're right on there. I really fully, well, we see that. It was like this young man was in here earlier. He was 22 years old, bald. Oh no, you can't be 22 years old and bald. You got to get hair on that baby. And that's the thing, you've got to have hair on that head. If you don't have hair on that head, the outcome in your future is seeking not good when it comes to the brain, thinking, memory, and all that stuff. Attention deficits and all these things like that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Acid on the brain. Just imagine, Coca-Cola on the brain. Now I know some of you do have Coke on the brain. Which Coke? Yeah. Yeah, so you're right on here. But no, we see that in hair growth and the length of the hair growth. Absolutely. No. You hit it right on the head for you ladies and for you guys. Everything, the beauty of your body depends upon the balance of chemistry in it. And the balance of chemistry in the human body is base dominant, as it is on the planet. Because remember, even a 50-50 isn't survival. That's scary. At 50-50, 50% acid and 50% base is not survivable. That's scary. That's scary. No, it has to be base dominant, just that much, to be survivable. Isn't that interesting? Highly interesting. You pull your blood down to 7, you're gone. Whew. Amazing. So when you talk about protein, which is on the acid side of chemistry, and you give somebody protein and you drop that pH of the blood down, now what has your blood got to do? It's got to find the calcium. And of course, where does it get it? As we said, right out of the walls. So now the veins start popping up and bruising like we talked about earlier. All these things start to happen. Scoliosis, ligaments and tendons breaking down, joints breaking down. Let's just go everywhere. Because acids have and take no prisoners. So, has a basal cell right on my hairline where the baby bangs are. They're just cells converting, but the basal cell's simple. You guys, you just put a little bit of light. You can even use our draw salve on a basal cell, but even something as Hill T on a basal cell. But you can even get that light skin salve, easy stuff. But it does tell you that even your skin cells are changing because of the acidosis. So, like I said, your head, Krista, sounds like it's in one big acid situation that you want to get rid of. So again, head sits on the bowels, so clean up the gut, get the kidneys to filter, all the things you guys know to be true. Upper circulation and brain and nerve. Upper circ is essential for me to get new hair growth. I just love that formula, and I should be taking it myself. I can make this stuff turn my natural color again. I just am a lazy guy. I'm so busy when I get home, I just flop down and die. Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Robert. We share listeners and viewers online. Good deal. And some wonder why you are so opposed to organic sulfur. This has been through here again, which we have been studying for at least 17 years, failing to kill any of our 2 million study members. Maybe we could both learn. Well, I've talked about this sulfur thing before. I'm not, I don't mean to be rude. I love you, man, but I'm not into changing my thinking on sulfur one little bit. I've had too much bad experience with sulfur and what I have to deal with in detox with sulfur, organic or not. When you're getting sulfur in with the rest of the family, no big deal. It's metabolized and utilized properly. When you're taking sulfur supplements, that's crazy. What are you trying to accomplish with sulfur? It's an acid. It's forbidden fruit. Even the vegetables that are sulfur, the cruciferouses, are forbidden fruit. Gassy, bloaty, tears up your digestion. And when you're a fruitarian and try to go to those foods, not good. So I don't mean to be rude, but there's nothing good about sulfur. I know people go to sulfur springs and they end up so nice on the skin and crap like that. We have to start lining also with smells and things. Those smells that pull us in as sweet and loving are sweet and loving. Those things that are the forbidden fruit are the forbidden fruit. And I just don't go there. Now, if you guys want to pump sulfur all you want, don't get pissed off when you see your eyes turn orange and you start having to deal with sulfur problems and getting them out and all the fungal problems that sulfur creates. Sulfur is a fungal aphrodisiac, guy. I've had too many years watching sulfur. Too many years. And I am a biochemist myself. So I'm just enough to tell you that I am the forbidden fruit of sulfur. am not about learning. And you guys, I don't care if we share people, I don't care what you guys want to do, I'm against it 100%. Period. But I love you guys. If you guys want to take it, okay. Patrick, I don't care. But when you have to deal with, we have to deal with the sulfurs. Sulfur isn't a word that you like anymore. And you can study it for 100 years. I don't care. Sulfur. And I'm against any isolate. They're not just sulfur, but there's specific reasons I'm against sulfur. But any isolate, I'm against calcium isolates. Oh yeah, you want to stone yourself up like a rock? I've had to deal with people that have done this, and then and the problems that they've had. So I'm definitely opposed to any isolate. I'm about family members. Remember, I'm making our site a family site where we all work together as a team. So, but I don't care. You know, I'm not out. I teach negative sides of sulfur, but if you guys want to take it, you know, I'm not doubting you guys and all that. It's just that I'm adamantly opposed to it. Charity. Hello, Charity. Hi there. I appreciate all that you do to help everyone out as much as you are able. I appreciate that. I could sit here for hours and hours and hours, guys. You give so many great questions. Some of you are hurting so bad, and my heart just pulls sometimes that but it's like, oh, there's so much. I have so many different things involved in so many different things, But I thank you guys. I thank you guys for tuning in to me and us. I thank you a lot. I appreciate each and every one of you, because I know where you can go with this and how it can ultimately change your life into something that's unbelievable. Something that's worth every minute and second you put into it. Because it's your freedom forever. It's your awakening in all levels. Cellularly and conscious-wise. In all ways. Good stuff. Hi there, I appreciate it. Okay, I am in a Facebook group for individuals who suffer from a genetic connective tissue disorder called, is that Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? Some also suffer from the vascular type of this disease, which is deadly. Okay, they say nothing can help those with EDS, especially natural remedies. Yeah, I've heard it called EDS, but yeah. Especially natural remedies. When you see that, immediately a medical doctor wrote that. When you see someone that said on a site that natural remedies don't help, and especially natural remedies, that's a medical doctor right there. And that's when you want to start backing away. They have been so indoctrinated that if you even mention the word detox, they clearly, I know this is probably true, Charity, because of this. Yeah, absolutely, honey. I know exactly. But it doesn't matter what they call the disorder. It's affecting connective tissue. So immediately connective tissue is involved in cells and matrix. Okay, cells and matrix. The matrix is going to be similar to bone matrix, right? Like in the vascular walls, you only have one cell thick connective tissue. Cholesterol plaques between that and the cell, the epithelial one row of cells. Isn't it amazing how God can make things so small and work so efficiently? I mean, it's amazing. Amazing. But, yeah, there's nothing here that can't be turned around. We've had a lot of this EDS in terms of that. I can never pronounce that word, though. So there's two things involved, isn't there? Two things. What's the number one thing? The lymphatic system, right? Always involved when you see the breakdown of anything. When you see the symptomology of anything, you know that looking at the human body and understanding it the way we do, that acids are going to obviously be the issue. That's going to be the festering or the promoting issue. Now, the other issue to this would be the parathyroid gland, no question, and pituitary, right? Okay, so now that's going to be your connecting link. So all you guys with EDS, you're going to go to that sort of thing. You're going to start getting up into the head area. It'd be beneficial to know and understand the eye, so you can get the connecting link of, is my pituitary affecting my parathyroid? And if so, just use the herbal side and bring that pituitary up a little bit. Because it's going to honk down on or increase the function of thyroid, parathyroid, adrenals, all the other ones. Remember that. So these people that have that side of that, it doesn't matter about what systems are affected, whether it's the vascular system, it doesn't matter, because you see this all the time. The petechias, the aneurysms, all the deaths from this, the herniations, and all these sort of things like that. And when you look at how the body's constructed and made, then you notice there that the foundation, so to speak, with connective tissues part of the foundation, in my feeling, is not doing well, and because the gland responsible for that is not involved. Add that on top of acidosis. See, you can go through years not having problems and then get problems suddenly when the lymph system gets so bad, and you've had that weakness for years but didn't know it. And then suddenly things get real bad. So these things are like that. None of this has to be deadly at all. You can convert all this around. You know, everything. There's a lot of things that can be deadly, but shouldn't be, because they're easy to. They're saying nothing can help those. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you know, remember we're in regenerative detoxification, and it's important to understand why the detox. A lot of people do say detox. They unless you listen to our videos and understand the lymph system, these guys have no clue when you say detox the depth of what you're talking about. That's the problem. When you guys are talking about detox and regenerative detoxification, there's only a few people, and generally those are other ones of us, or those that have been through our schools or systems, understand what that means and the importance of why that word is used in any of these conditions. Because most people don't realize that the core issue of these conditions, these made-up diseases by the medical community, which are truly just chemistry and physics problems, you got to look at that. You got to go in there and fix that. Understand what the causative factors are. Not look at it as a disease and, oh, I'm ravished by a disease. No, how did I create this problem? What side of chemistry is this problem on? What systems are involved? That'll even take you deeper in understanding what's causing it. Like, all you have to do is get into connective tissue issues and know immediately what the problem is. On top of acidosis. Well, the average person on the street, we say you can detox that out of you, they don't got a clue what level you're talking about. You know, this is another level. This isn't just a 2-week detox and you're good. This is... But I'm proud of you, Charity, for being strong and hanging in there, honey. And I just get your verbiage down and go after that. You know, because it's not about supplements. This is about the regeneration of tissue. And connective tissue, as far as that's concerned. And my guess, they could have some bone matrix problems too. Other problems too. See if they link that to depression. Other problems as well. See those connecting links. But you know always the acid side of chemistry, there's only two sides. And it's always the acid side of chemistry that's changing and altering and breaking things down. So if you want to change that, the condition you're experiencing that's being promoted out of that acid condition, then you have to change the type of chemistry you've been involved in. You know, when people say, I've got this problem, what do I do? You have to change everything you've been doing. Because what you've been doing has been creating this problem. You know, the biggest injustice that the World Bank has done through the Rockefellers and all that is make people think there's diseases and that only they can deal with them, and then, set up this whole syndrome of killing all these people. It's just idiocy. You have to understand chemistry and physics rules this planet, and everything can be explained through those doorways. And understanding how the body's put together is just icing on the cake. You can understand, what systems need what, and when they don't get it, what happens. And understanding the glands, you only have a few of them. And just understanding what they produce and what they do. Just get an A&P book, and sometimes just play it, watching TV, and just read on the adrenals and what it does. And then read it again a week from then, and then read it again a month from then until you know what the adrenals do. That's what everybody else does. And then get the parathyroid, read up on the parathyroid. Read it one night, put it down, let it soak in. Right? And think about that parathyroid. And then start talking to the tree. You know, I think your parathyroid's down. Your bark could be stronger. You know what I'm saying? In other words, start taking on it. Start moving yourself into that persona. Because that's how creation's experienced. Hey, Paul. Hi, Doc. Hope you're having a great day. Yeah. Yeah, I was painting earlier this morning, and then some people came in and wanted to pick, and then I wanted to come in and do videos anyway, so. Here, if we don't get, like right now, it's getting ready to really bust loose raining. And we've had the monsoon season, so if you don't get your work done in the morning, it's raining every afternoon. All right, I'm planning on doing a 2-week grape fast, maybe longer. You know, here's the way to do that. Set it up 2 weeks. I'm going to go on a 2-week grape fast. All right? Now, you know, or some of you that have been doing these things know that after a few days, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. You lose the desire for other foods, so you just keep going. I would suggest when you get into that vein, keep going, whatever it takes. Whatever, just to use your intuition that tells you, you know what, I've had enough, I'll break it today. And just go as long as you can. You're not starving. Grape is one of the most nutritious, nutritive rich foods on the planet. So you're eating high nutrition and high energy. What more do you want? The flavor of a dead animal? I don't know. With lemon juice along with that, with kits 1 and 2. Well, you know, that's a smart thing. I told you about this. She was a model, but she married some guy that did something with cruise ships, and her family owned the cruise ship line or something. Anyway, she had lung and bone, and I'd worked on her about a year before that, up and down at the foods and stuff, you know, dealing with cruise lines and stuff like that. And then she was diagnosed with lung and bone. And I told her, I said, honey, you've got to get serious, or forget it and go have fun. Got one of the two. Get serious or go have fun. Don't have the boys chop you and burn you and kill you. Go have fun or get serious, right? So 43 days later on a grape and lemon juice fast, no more bone and lung cancer. Have her testimonial in there. Not ours, hers. Good work. While I wait for my iris, and yet I still have others struggling for over a year and can't get rid of their tumors. And it just shows you the differences in chronicness and stagnation and stuff like this. You know, the only difference between us as humans, we all have body parts, is the genetic weakness of our body parts and the different levels of stagnation in these body parts and where you're stagnant. And sometimes it can be very serious. While I wait for my iris analysis and personalized 14-week protocol, am I doing that, Paul? Or did I do it already? Is this a good start in combination? Yeah. This is a perfect start, Paul. I mean, this is a butt-kicking start. That's what that is, Paul. I can get organic red seedless grapes and non-organic red seedless grapes. What ones would you best? Seedless organic. Oh, seeded non-organic or seedless organic. I'd go the seedless organic. I would, because I don't like seeded grapes. I like the big red seeded ones, but I don't like to chew on seeds and stuff. So what I do is I juice the seeded ones, but I get the black seeded ones, and then I eat the red ones. And I like green once in a while if they're real sweet and really nice, but you can tell the difference, can't you? You can tell the flavonoid difference between the two. Also, with the lemon juice, do I water it down or drink it? I'd probably water it down a little bit. Try to get the ripest lemons you can. If you get Myers lemons, they're the best. Peace and love to you too, my friend. But yeah, if everybody had this kind of mindset, it'd probably be about 100% cure rate on the planet. Or, you know, you got people going, so you got to realize that. Tiffany Ross. Yep. Dr. Morse, I found you in your protocol about a month ago, and it has changed my life. I am now eating 100% fruit. Good. I suffer greatly from adrenal fatigue, low thyroid. You know, Tiffany, I tell you, God, is it like this whole, it's almost a human condition now when you come into this planet. You'd get a weak kidney, a weak adrenal gland, a weak thyroid. Some of it's getting real bad. I mean, a 6-month-old cystic fibrosis. I am a young female with blood pressure around 80 over 55. Oh, God, that is low. Try the other arm too, honey. You know, you got 2 adrenal glands and 2 kidneys, and you have 2 blood pressures. You know, you're looking at your blood pressure. Your 80 is your adrenal glands, right? Your 55 is your kidneys. You don't want any lower than 55 because that's telling me you have a weak kidney. You know, 60 is really a good diastolic. 58, maybe 60 raw foodist, but you get too low on the diastolic, I'm looking at kidney weakness. The 80 is, oh, boy, you're down there. I don't even know how you have any desire to get up out of bed in the morning. People, you got to understand when you're 80 over, your neurotransmitters is in the dumpers. That means your blood pressure is 80 at the top. 120, 40 points higher is standard issue, is textbook. And she is down in the dumpers. 80 is horrible. So I can tell you your kidneys can't be filtering. Heck no. So you really, and this is common for a lot of the younger people too, and this is a sad thing. They got chronic fatigue and everything else because their adrenals are so down in the dumps. Stressful planet just to be on here. It's an adrenal teaser, isn't it? About out of water. Well, I would do the adrenal 400 granular, and forgive me, but I'd start at 3 times a day. That's TID is 3 times a day. BID is 2 times a day. I would do the 400s, about 1 TID 3 times a day, and if I didn't see much of a bump, I'd do 2. You might even have to hitchhike the adrenal tincture or capsule and add licorice root because you are way down there, 80 over. And has this before you've done any detoxing? Because here's a problem, or could be a problem. If indeed her kidneys aren't filtering, that means there is a stagnation even within her kidneys, which means when even the diastolic would be high, that would be a serious problem. Because when she starts detoxing, her blood pressure is even going to go down more or go up. I wouldn't know until she starts it. That's why it's mandatory that she goes on adrenal glands. It's mandatory that she goes on adrenal glands. Have a seat with it. So 80 over is really low, sweetheart, and you really want to hit the adrenal 400s. Like I said, 3 times a day. That's TID or 2. And they might be thinking about that licorice root, dear one, because this is and take a look at your eyes and see if your kidneys are weak, because I like a higher pressure in the diastolic. Remember, you have 2 kidneys and 2 adrenal glands. You have 2 blood pressures, 1 on each side. So you've told me one side, look at your other side. Well, you could have a weaker one on the other side. So that's another problem we want to look at. What else do I suggest to get blood pressure up? Those are the ways I would. But remember the lymphatic system and the kidneys. You've got to work on both those things. Also, I saw a naturopath here in Chicago last year. Thanks. Just a little dabble, do me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's good. Thank you, son.
No problem.
I saw a naturopath here in Chicago last year who, oh, you're Chicago. Well, I'm originally born and raised about 50 miles south of Indianapolis, Indytown, Brown County, Nashville, Indiana, who did the Carroll food intolerance test and told me I was intolerant to all fruit. Yada, 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 yada. You know what? I would throw the Carroll food intolerance test out the door and say, see you later, Carroll intolerance test. I have no problem eating fruit. What is your opinion of this food intolerance test? That's what I have to say for that. Stupid people. But when your lymph system gets so backed up, you know the fruits can be really proactive and high fungus and stuff like that because they are proactive. You're talking about 3,000 to 4,000 angstroms higher than vegetables. That's almost as much as another human being energy in you. You know, the difference between a fruit and a vegetable is taking half of the energy of your mate and giving it to you. That's how powerful. And that just, you know, and add astringents to that. And when you astringe ulcerations and acids, you can get pain out of that. I mean, they're real active. That's why you settle down with the good old boys, the veggies and the green drinks, the good old boys. But expect them to come out on top? No. Paul. Oh, Paul. I hope all is well. Since October 2015, I have been getting reoccurring canker sores, mouth ulcers. Too acidic. So whatever you're doing is too acidic. If it's fruit, they're not ripe enough. For roughly the first 3 months, one would appear and heal, but straight after another one would appear. Now, you could just be pulling this herpes out of you. That could be happening too, but make sure that your mouth, check your pH papers, make sure your mouth is alkaline. If it's not alkaline, if it's alkaline, then you could be just popping these out of you. But if your mouth is acidic, then, it's herpes in the mouth. But everybody's got that. Anybody's had a smallpox vaccine. After this time, I started to get them less frequently, but still getting them, and it's now July 2016. Is this detox or acidosis? As a rule, it's acidosis, but it does show you still have the herpes in the mouth. But you know what? I mean, it's just detox. You just need to keep detoxing the head area out, and you'll get them. Or a deficiency. I was raised that way. Oh yeah. Oh, I'd get them too if I had real acid-forming foods. I mean, I was all wrong. My sister was down for Thanksgiving, and she wanted to have a big Thanksgiving turkey. So I'd been all raw, and I've been doing so good, and I thought, wow, God. So she invited me over, and there was nothing really for me to eat. It was all cooked, and turkey, and everything like that. And I can't remember if I was living in my van then or I was out, but I just had a couple of bites of the turkey to taste it. I don't know how many, but I had at least 3 or 4 of those. The biggest ones I'd ever had and the most painful I'd ever had. They were so painful I couldn't take it almost. And I was like, oh shit, I'm not going to do that anymore. Yeah. So, vibration, frequency, acid, all those things I think together, But it does say, Paul, that you need to keep detoxing your head out, and, get the bowels cleaned up, get all this acid out of the head area, and you'll be okay. Those will go away. But check your pH of your mouth, and what's your teeth doing, what's your gums doing, things like that, But these are viral loads we get in us from vaccines and stuff. Thank you. Thank you. This is Bob Ray. Hey, Bob Ray. My grandfather was Bob. Plus all the vegan times, yep, don't need the herbs. They don't work for anyone, but orange juice fast really does work and fast. Funny thing is, I tried herbs and got an allergy to them and got horrible burning in my urine tract. I believe it was the black walnut. You even know what you're talking about here, Bob? You don't. in my urinary tract. I believe it was the black walnut. Don't buy into 100% of anybody's BS. Yes, you can die from herbs if you have a bad enough allergies to them. Stick with the orange juice fast for 30 days at least. 60 would be best. And you better take vitamin D and a multivitamin mineral and fish oil. And by the way, make sure your multi has iodine and B100. You will get an electrolyte imbalance. Add salt, sodium to the orange juice, or you will get. Bob, you are messed up in your head. You've been listening to too many people. You don't know what you're talking about here, son. You're doing way too many wrong things here. Herbs don't cause allergies. You already have lymphatic problems. And when you take herbs, it starts to clean that and bring that out. Of course that would. You know, you've got to address your allergies here. You're doing nothing for it. And adding orange juice, that can only be fresh squeezed and ripe as heck. So you're way off here. And I think most of us know that by now. Herbs are the beauties. If you're having trouble with that, maybe you need to see someone that knows what they're talking about, and they can help you use the herbs to get your body straightened around, because you've got some trouble going on here. And you need to fix it. And I don't bullshit anybody, buddy. End of story. You are, though. Look at the crap you put in here. That's all bull crap. All of it. You know, you got your head off. You got to turn it around on, Bob. All right? Thank you. Still love you, though. Let's see what we got here. Nima. Hey, Nima. Hello, you are an amazing person and a gift. Thank you. You are too, Nima. You are too, honey. Don't forget that. And she's 20 years old. She's a 20-year-old and contracted herpes about a year ago. Here, we just got through talking about it. Or a different type, of course. I have been fully raw for 7 months, and 2 months of the 7 months I have been only on melons and berries and fresh coconut water. Ooh, that's really good. I take oregano oil and olive leaf extract as well. 2 good ones. When do you recommend me getting a blood test to get a negative test? Do you recommend any of your herbs? I would go full bore body detox. I'm serious. Get in your lymph system and everything else. The lymph system has to carry these viral loads out of you, not the blood. So you've got to make sure your kidneys are filtering, look at your eyes, make sure you're clear lymphatically, you know, all those sort of things. And check your blood every once in a while to see where your loads are. You know, see how much you're getting down off of them and stuff. But make sure you're hunking on your lymphatic system, sweetheart, because that's the one, that's the place that you got to go to get rid of these heavy viral loads. You can take these things, but they never get rid of viral loads. Only detox does. I've been detoxing HIV and Hep C viral loads for years. Easy. So you can do the very same thing and you'll be in good shape there. But you want to do this because someone gave you herpes there. And I would also douche for a couple of weeks. You know, really start cleaning my body out and get these viral loads out, because it's not fun. It's not fun for you or anybody else. And I tell you, it's just one of these things that's pushing man to detox. You notice that? All these deeper issues that are affecting social issues and emotional issues are forcing us to change. If we don't change, it will force us to change. That's the gig, guys. You know, you can sit there with the narcissism and that, and it's like, go ahead. I learned a long time ago, I'll just step back and let the universe deal with you the way it will, because I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Humility is always the best answer to all things, my dear ones. This is Grammy Duck. Hi, Dr. Morse, Dr. Robert. Hello, my friend. Trust this finds you well. Pretty well. I have recently subscribed to your health club and began listening to your tube videos. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for watching them. Appreciate it muches. I am thankful to find a being in this life in a man's body. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. That is standing up, speaking up for the feminine. It has long been a passion of mine that the divine feminine be encouraged and placed back in the rightful role as it once was. Thank you. Thank you. That is exactly one of the big reasons I'm here. Thank you. And you're going to be seeing some things coming that you guys are really going to like out of the female principle. And this is a high, high spiritual being. And you'll see, she's very awake. Unreal. And that's what this world needs. Enough of the male principle. You know, and I'm a male, but I have enough of male principles. We've got to bring balance, love, harmony, awake consciousness to the planet. We've been mind writers too long here, and you see what it's created. A world of theories and unconsciousness, and no one knows how to fix anything, and suffering everywhere. That doesn't have to be that way. You guys can turn around everything and have a good life here. I've been on a journey for most of my life. I am passionate about our farmers getting back to nurturing the earth. I am passionate about that too. They grow our foods in and also supporting our indigenous peoples and our bush foods. So you got a good take on what I'm after, right? You're right. You know, I've got several focuses that I'm going to do, and one is I told you about. I want to build dome homes for Native Americans. I want Native Americans to start enjoying the richness of their beauty, and you know, things like that. This is what I'm after here. And farmers to learn to grow better foods and stuff, and governments to stay out of farming. You know, they pay most of these farmers not to farm their properties. You know that, right? I mean, a lot of farmers are making big bucks from the government not to farm their properties because it controls the prices. I mean, they do it all the time. My dad was paid by the government not to grow so much corn because it would affect corn prices. I mean, it's like they've been controlling this whole friggin' thing for years. And it's like, I don't know, you know. But I think farmers have to start thinking about greenhouses in northern environments and growing fruit. Turning the whole thing around and letting people feel good when they feel the fruit consciousness enter their bodies. Here in the land down under, oh, you're on Aussie, Australia. Nice to see you. We have an enormous amount of wonderful bush foods and medicines. Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So what you got to do is look at those medicinos as herbs for the tissues of the body and know which herbs are for which tissues in the body, see? And then you work with those herbs for the kidneys and those herbs because every country has their herbs for the different body parts. Beautiful. The Creator. And it's time we began to honor and utilize Him, and I'm 100% behind you. It's time our governments be infused with love and beauty. We need spiritual female people involved in government, not corrupt female people involved in government. Thank you for the videos. And thank you so much for enjoying them. I'm glad you do. You speak about iPhotos. How do you best go about this? Is a photo from a normal camera sufficient? It is, but actually a cell phone is better. They tell you how to do this, but anyway, you've got to get a light on the side and a cell phone here and get as close as you can and as clean as you can and as clear as you can and get me a whole eye picture. They have it up there how you do it. If not, call into the clinic and ask them. They'll tell you. But yeah, you want to get used to looking at your eye. Amazing stuff. I sent a message earlier, being involved in a boating accident many years ago, and though that losing a kidney, holy moly, you seek about the importance of supporting adrenals, kidneys, pineal glands, etc. Who foods and herbs are best to add this physical support into my everyday lifestyle? Love your work. Oh, I love you too, man. Thank you so much. Name is Grame. I'll put it this way. You don't want to do a high protein diet because that damages kidneys. So which foods do you think loves and embraces the kidneys? Fruits, berries, and melons. Really do, because your kidneys like a little bit of acid, just a little bit, and they are the best for that. So situation, notice that the foods we put you on is regenerating your physical bodies. They're also regenerating your emotional bodies. And for those of you that are digging into the higher fruits, notice how they're settling down your thinking processes. They're almost bringing you into the moment. It quiets you down. Acids irritate, creating excessive thinking, excessive feeling and emotions, and of course, inflammation and pain and swelling. All right, let's do one more. And then let's close this off. Okay. Let's see if I need to look that one up. All right. All right, let's go over this one. This is a long one, but we'll make this our final one here. And this is from Katya. Yeah. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? I think I just addressed one of your questions here, didn't I? Let me see where you are here. Maybe this is a different Katya. Oh, this is a resubmission of my last 3 emails. Oh, so maybe I already talked to one. Let's see what this is. Okay, sweetheart. Thanks to you, my friend has been eating a lot of fruit and your kick-ass herbal formulas. Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks, honey. Plus, I do lymph drainage massage, on my head and neck every day. 80% of the lymph congestion right under my ears and in my sinus areas is gone. Yeah. Now, this is a woman that knows what she wants and knows how to get it. And recently, after a few periods of puffiness, the inside of my eyes are feeling cleaner and tighter. I like the word tighter. Like that. Oh, yeah, tighter. So thank you for the great information that you are giving. Oh, thank you, honey. I appreciate that. We decided to send this message to you so that you get a laugh with us. Oh, okay. So thank you very much for all the great information you are giving us. You are awesome. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you guys, too. A great deal, because without you guys, we're nothing. You know, we're out here making a change in the consciousness on this planet, and it's incredible what you guys are doing. I'm so proud of you guys, but so's the universe. You know, I come packing with some friends, and these guys really are incredible friends, and they thank you. I know about the connection between the transverse colon and the head. That puts you above others, because that shows you that connection. And no one would think, you know, to go back to the embryonic stages of life and showing how the embryonic tail and how that becomes the spinal column and gut tissue, but also how that all the organs and glands kind of come out of that gut tissue and how all that is. And so there would be a symbiotic relationship between all parts of the GI tract, or the gut tissue, as it's called, and the cells of the body. Of course. Things we probably still don't even have a clue about. That's how slick the Creator is. So neat stuff. All right, so that's good. I do have many radius solaris going into my head. And I'm doing your whole program. It has been very beneficial. Sweetheart, upper circuit, brain and nerve until those radius solaris are gone, honey. Okay? Especially because you don't want to have any babies with radius solarises and stuff like that, because, you know, if you see some big, dark radius solaris, imagine your downline. Well, this is where all the MS is coming from in the Lou This is where all the brain lesions are coming from, guys. It's all these weaker genetic areas in the brain like that, the radius solaris. However, there is one thing I have been noticing that I don't understand. Maybe you will have an answer. Since I am more sensitive to foods now, I can't feel too much. Now I can feel to much greater degree what they do to my body. Absolutely. See, and Caitlin brings up an excellent response here. That's the problem. You can get so sensitive to the body, you know immediately. You can feel the energy, you can feel the consciousness of the food, what it's doing to you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can get really sensitive. If you get too sensitive, kind of get that mind away. Get away from your body. Eat it and don't listen to it. Try not to pay any attention to your body, because I got the feeling my blood flowing. And I said to myself, I can't do this. I can't feel every little thing in my body. It actually pulled me deeper into my body. So I started using out-of-body travel, started using contemplation and pulling myself away from the body. And then it worked much better, because you just start to feel every little thing in your body. And just what you're doing now, honey. At times when I eat certain cooked foods, usually that has dairy in it, within 5 minutes I start feeling pressure in my head, listen to this, and very uncomfortable clogged feeling in the areas right under my eyes where most lymph nodes are. See? And that's just proof. And you know what? It does this all that way. Some people know it and some people don't. But when you get sensitive, see, that's the problem. Those people that are already impacted, they don't know they are continuing to get impacted. They keep getting impacted and impacted and impacted because no lymph is moving. Then when the bell rings, it's all hell breaks loose and they go, what? I'm in trouble. But they don't know or realize how much in trouble. That's why this is so important for you guys to get out there and wake up the dead. Because these humans on this planet need to wake up and start taking care of themselves. Most of these humans are living in pain in a hellhole. I mean, take a look at what's going on out here. And the kids, oh my God, look here. Same family, 6 months, 14 months, both cystic fibrosis. Whew. Okay, understand that it is a response to the food. Proteins. For the lady who asked me about proteins today, proteins, the most mucosic, responsive food on the planet. The constituents in a food, protein causes the most mucus, irritates the mucosa the most, and causes the breakdown of cells the most. It is the acid principle out of foods. I understand that it is response to the food, but coming from the transverse colon in this case. Oh, I understand that it's a response to the food, but it can't be coming from the transverse colon. All you have to do is touch the food. That's all you got to do. Me, I have to be careful because all I have to do is look at the food and the energy. And I say, because you guys, when you get more conscious, you have to be careful not to allow things to, to pull things to you, because that's what you're going to be doing. The more conscious you are, the more powerful of a being you are. And, you pull things to you if you're not careful. So you're bringing up some good things here. I really like that. But as soon as you put it in your mouth, you can feel the mucus. I talked about dairy I think it's on the earlier part of this video or last video. I can just put it up to my mouth and I start to feel head pressure and lungs, and it's horrible. And it's funny, it still doesn't stop us sometimes from taking that little bite. But absolutely, all you have to do is touch it with your hands, touch it in your mouth, and you're done. You're neurologically. It's all through you. It's a boom. And that shows you that it's not just the chemistry of a constituent. It's the magnetics, the energetics, the electronics of the food. See? And when you get into wrong electronics, wrong energies, you can feel them. You ever walked in up to someone and you just got a horrible feeling, you didn't like them, they're negative or something, and they looked okay, but you just didn't get a good feeling? Absolutely. You didn't consciously know what the problem was, but you could feel the vibration wasn't good. Same thing here. I understand that it's a response to the food, but it can't be. Okay. I'd love to hear your take on it. Okay. One time I had a very clear experience of it. I ate 2 little pieces of dark organic chocolate. Supposed to be good for you, isn't it? Supposed to be. That's what they tell you. Who's they? According to most people, right? Within 5 to 10 minutes, I could feel and had a precise image of a stream of heaviness and fog going from my stomach into the front area of my head. Oh. Now, okay, this is excellent, because remember I've been telling you, frontal headaches is the stomach. And so all she did was eat this. When it hit the stomach, it hit her head. You see how that is vibrationally? See, vibrationally, what picked up the vibration of that food? The nervous system. The nervous system, and that's immediate. You almost can't fractional second it. Remember, NASA uses fractional seconds. So when you're looking at that, it's like, holy moly, all I had to do was hit the stomach. Poof. Remember I told you I got poisoned with quinine here several years ago. As soon as it hit my stomach, there was an electrical shock. And I felt energy going down and up, and my brain went numb. And I started losing the ability to breathe. I couldn't do anymore. I couldn't breathe anymore. It was a nightmare. And all I can tell you is I know a lot about that. And it's dark chocolate, supposed to be organic and healthy, right? Just goes to show you what is assumed isn't always true. Okay? And there's a lot of people pushing product out there, and not good product. See, I'm proud of our products, but you don't want to buy them, I don't care. This site is about educating you on how to get well. If you want to use our products, they're good. Love them. If you don't, I don't care. Get them wherever you want. But focus on what I'm thinking. Focus on what I'm talking about. The areas of the body that I'm talking about. Those sort of things. If you're in the back bush, look up some herbs for the kidneys, herbs for the lymphatic system, things like that. Put yourself some formulas together. Heck yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of all this. Have fun with nature. And you hit it, you felt it right precisely. As soon as it hit the stomach, it hit you here. And that's exactly the connecting link of the stomach to the frontal part of the head. Exactly, right on. I felt very precise boundaries. Oh, look at that precise boundary of the beam. So you know that electrically, the nervous system was right up here. What amazing, isn't it? Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Yep. That's amazing. I also felt that it made me foggy and feeling stupid and dopey. Isn't that amazing? It lowered your vibration to where you felt dopey, not sharp. Yep. You guys are learning so much going through this that you're all making beautiful healers because you've done it on yourselves. You know exactly how to talk to somebody, and you're coming from experience, not book read. Book read people only can talk to you so much. Those that have done it can sit there and rap with you on the process of it. Absolutely. So thank you very much for all the great information. You're welcome, sweetheart. Anytime, honey. That's my destiny. Dr. Morse, what is the link between calcium and cramping? A lack thereof. Parathyroid gland, or extreme acidosis where you're losing too much calcium, and of course cramping. But there's that old phosphorus little fella, isn't it? How does it work? Why does tissue cramp? Spasms. It's a nervous system in spasms, actually. Calcium is a major component of nerve transmission. And it's actually the nervous system that spasms. You read my friend's email recently. Oh, you read my friend's email recently and wondered what kind of dessert she was eating to gain 30 pounds. You were absolutely right about the dairy part. I don't know what this stuff is. Tiramisu. Tiramisu? I don't know what that stuff is. However, which is about 70 or 80% cream. Now you know what dessert you like. Creme brulee, baby. I love creme brulee. What a butt kicker. Man, that's got all the baddies, baby. Isn't that terrible? That's what man does. I share it with you. I just haven't eaten it in a while. Good job, honey. More and more fruit is the only satisfying food for me. Same with me. If I eat everything cooked, even the so-called healthy foods, I feel like crap afterwards with a lot of mental fog and heaviness. You guys are so good. The last 2 times I tried chocolate, I didn't even like the taste. I went through another healing crisis recently. For the 2nd time in my life, I had a huge swollen cheek and inflamed gums. Now listen, this is exactly what can happen. And she knew immediately it was a healing crisis. But your face can swell up, your fingers can swell up. And you never want to give anybody the fingers because generally that's the finger that swells up. You see karma? So be real careful what you do. But that's exactly a healing crisis right in your face. How interesting, right? Swell up, go back down, everything's good. Both times happened after 2 to 3 days of eating only fruit and taking your herbal formula. That's what a healing crisis is for. The first time I had every intense pain in my whole head from it, which lasted for 2 days, 2 nights, and then the pain stopped and swelling started to go down on its own. See that? Sometimes you have to go through these to break everything loose, and then all the pressure start coming out and everything's good. You know, it's amazing, and I can't tell you, there's so many aspects to detoxification. It's unbelievable. This time it's different. It's the teeth. Remember I told you I had one lady that the dentist pulled her teeth because it was loose? He pulled a tooth, and then he was going to pull another tooth the next week because it was loose. And no, it was just a healing crisis. All her teeth became loose. 7 abscesses. I kept pushing her through it. All the abscesses gone. Gums locked right back on the teeth, and a fine set of teeth except one missing. Oh, and now the pain completely gone and everything. Good girl. She used some castor oil packs on that. Good girl. Stop. You know, good girl. You guys are getting smart, smart, smart. You're identifying healing crises as they are. I've been experiencing with saliva pH after eating certain foods, although pineapples and grapefruits are acidic fruits. No kidding. Sometime get you a pineapple that got ripe on the plant and test it. Big difference. There's a big difference between these. Grapefruits are supposed to be acidic like lemons, but they break down. They have alkaline ashes. And of course, this again is, did we nitrogen the tree? You know, that's what I'm saying. We use this protein nitrogen to increase the growth in trees, but then we unbalance its chemistry, and then we get real bitter fruit. So you can't, you don't want to mess with that too much. You're messing with chemistry, and protein, or the nitrogen side, even though it's a dominant in the atmosphere, isn't dominant in foods. Your dominance in foods is your carbohydrates. And for good reason. They're used, why do you eat in the first place? Energy. And that's your sugars, energy. The pH of my saliva changed from acid to alkaline, APH, after eating those fruits. After chewing on raw propolis has the same effect. Plus in Russia, they use propolis to help rebuild tooth enamel. Yeah, I like bee propolis. I like the royal jelly. And I put the royal jelly in your superfoods for you. They charge a lot of money to us for it, but the royal jelly, baby, that's queen bee stuff. And man, there's more nutrition in there than we even know. So I mean, you add all the nutrition up and all this stuff that you're getting between the raw fruits and all the superfood blends and the herbs, you got more nutrition than any animal eats in probably a half a year. Easy. So it's not about nutrition, is it? No. I think you guys are learning that now. Thank you for your time and effort. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you, honey. Thank you guys so much for all your work on yourselves, learning and growing. Amazing. Now we only have this big stack left. I'm going to try to come in this weekend, sit here for about 6 hours if I can. Look at that big stack. And that's not the latest ones that Chris is trying to pull off. So I think I'm going to get some of the latest ones, because some of you are in serious trouble, and I keep saying this. If you listen to our videos and you know we can help you, you get on the phone and you get yourself taken care of. You start on something, even if it's a Fab 4 or the first 2 kits, because you got to start. You can't sit there and lay in pain and hurt and wait till someone gets a hold of you. You want to, or me, read these things, because I'm only grabbing them as I can. And this is for educational purpose, to build your guys' strength and understanding, so when it comes time to help people, you know exactly what's on. And our group is the smartest group on the planet, in my opinion, on how to get people well. Proud of each and every one of you. So you guys have a great night. Have some fun out of body traveling. I love all you guys and gals from the heart.